6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
How about we do it again?
6, 7, 4, 3, 2, 1. I think I farted.
Okay, let's try one more
I
time.
definitely.
Ready?
Making review. Making review. Making review.
Say 6,
6,
5,
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to episode 246 of Rank and Review, More Scary Sequels. Regular contributor Mr. Lee Beckmann is returning with your host and random Canadian Larry Parsons to discuss 6 horror sequels. And one of those 6 horror sequels will be Halloween Ends, thus bringing an end to Beckmann and myself's taking on of the Nouveau Halloween Trilogy. So that is the bit of business that you're plugging into your ears this episode of Rank and Review. And as usual, you should expect there to be spoilers, you should expect there to be coarse language, because that's just how we do business. Please send your feedback to ranknreview@gmail.com. That's ranknreview@gmail.com. Check out the website at ranknreview.ca, because I'm up here in Canada. And if you need other things to fill your ears with, check out the Terror Table podcast, check out A Lifetime of Hallmark, and please check out the Shelf Shedding movie show hosted by my friend Mr. Jason Dubray. But you can do all of that later, because right now, you're listening to Scary Sequels. Let's do this. Brand new to the show, a guest you've never heard before, Mr. Lee Beckmann.
Hi, everybody! I'm
Dude.
so happy to be here for the very first time!
Rank and Review welcomes, and I'm always as your host, Larry Parsons. We're going to talk about horror sequels again. We've been here before, but I guess I didn't really properly ask you the last time we talked about horror sequels. What does Lee Beckmann want from a horror sequel? Like, sometimes you just wish that they leave the movie the fuck alone, but, you know, they're never going to do it, especially if it's successful.
Yeah.
I really like that Smile movie that they made, and they're going to fuck it up with sequels, right? What does Lee Beckmann want from his horror sequel?
Something new, to be perfectly honest, but that's not always a good thing, as we're going to discuss about that.
There's risks.
There's risks. It's hard capturing the same lightning in a bottle. I don't know. A lot of sequels are disappointing. What I want from a sequel? Quality. Quality. And a continuation of the story. I do sometimes like movies that give us more of the same, a la Friday the 13th, but they do also, sequels give you something new. But usually a good sequel, like say The Godfather 2, continues that story. You know, Lord of the Rings, their sequels continue that story. The Star Wars continues that story. It's not more of the same.
I think you gotta thread a line, like, I like that you gotta respect the world, but make the world at least a little bit bigger
Yes.
each time you're in it.
Yeah.
And that doesn't necessarily mean breaking the rules of the world or reinventing the world, but
Yeah.
like, bring something to it.
Yeah.
I also like to think that the people involved want to be there. I really hate
Yeah.
a sequel that feels like almost consciously slapdash. Like,
Yeah.
nobody gave a shit. This was like a next job. This will probably make money because it's a sequel. It'll be a
Yeah.
stepping stone for me to do something legit.
Yeah.
I want to believe that the person who wrote the script was excited about writing that script, and that the
Yeah.
person directing the movie had a vision.
Yeah.
And that's when I tend to get really frustrated. Like, so you found this thing that's popular, and you've
Yeah.
been able to finance the making of a movie out of that. But the end goal isn't just making this product. You
Yeah.
want to make quality product.
Yes.
And the second you start the sequel discussion, it seems like and I hate to be judgmental, but it feels like in the production end, quality matters less, and with each subsequent sequel, it matters even less still.
Yeah.
And I resent that. Like, I think that there's no reason, as like, I haven't even watched the Mission Impossible franchise.
Yeah.
It's a big black hole in my action sort of schedule. And I think once they're all done, I will just do a whole thing of them. But
Yeah.
the word on the street is, with Mission Impossible, the argument can be made that the 6th installment was the best installment so far. I don't know, again, but there's no reason not to shoot for that, is my point.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like, okay, it's Scream 5, so whatever. No, it's Scream 5. Come on, let's do this.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
The fans are going to take it seriously, so that you owe it to them to at least take it a little bit seriously yourself.
Yeah.
So in some areas, I'm going to say good things and I'm going to say bad things about these ones, but for the most part, I don't necessarily think that's the problem with the sequels that we're going to be talking about in this bunch.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think it's very much a problem that we see, especially in the horror genre, especially in the super cheap direct-to-streaming, direct-to-video, just shit them out.
Yeah.
No.
Horror sequels by nature, it's so obvious. It's the quest for more money.
Yeah.
And right off the bat, you're like, unless you're starting off with a trilogy in mind and you have an overarching narrative that you need at least 3 movies or 2 movies to tell your story, okay then. But if you're getting like Nightmare on Elm Street 5, it's really just, we want more money, here's more of the same, blah. And you kind of go, And
you can tell when it's happening, and especially with the case you mentioned. It's like the next sequels basically started production before the previous one's out, and like they're doing it at such a dead run that even if the script was half decent and the performers were capable, like they're just not given the time and the ability and the budget to do it with the quality it deserves. You know?
Which kind of is a segue into Scream 2, but I don't want to ruin it.
Okay.
We'll talk about it then. Because,
to be continued.
But yes, go ahead. Sorry.
No, that's fine. So I know that the big draw was the Halloween for this particular episode, but was there anything that surprised or despised within you with this bunch?
I was surprised how much I really liked Scream 2, especially when I sort of dug deep into the making of it and what they were dealing with.
Yeah.
That really surprised me. I don't want to ruin it for the actual reviews, but I would say the one that surprised me the most, I was surprised how much I enjoyed was Scream 2, and it wasn't just the first experience when I saw it. I saw it, this time I saw it on my iPad in a dark room and went, wow, this is still a very well-made horror thriller, but
this Wes Craven guy seems to know what he's doing.
Kinda does.
The two for me revisiting that I had sort of, I'm not going to say I changed my mind on, but a different sort of perspective on was the I 2 and Carrie 2, the Rage Carrie 2, which we will both get to, but sequels have that ability, a potential within them to surprise and to potentially enrage.
Yes.
And I don't want to necessarily spank all of these movies for taking risks. Like, sometimes you want to say, you know what, you took a risk, that was a ballsy move.
Yeah.
And well, sometimes you win, sometimes you lose.
But
we're going to have to go for a case-by-case basis. Is there anything else you want to say about sequels or about any of these before I list off the movies and we...
Sequels. It's a part of life.
It is. That's true, if a movie is popular, if it gets a cult following even if it doesn't make a big splash in the box office, if enough people talk about it for long enough, expect a sequel. And that is not always a good thing.
Yeah.
But I do think that by and large, we have a pretty strong group here.
Yeah. I'm going to say this, Hollywood, because I know Hollywood totally listens to this podcast.
They should.
Not every successful movie needs a sequel, people. No. Not every successful movie needs a sequel. I'm still mad at you, Blues Brothers 2000.
Yeah. And like the list is long.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah, let's do this. The 6 sequels. I was about to say, let's just jump right into the thing, but let's let the listeners know what we're going to review.
Yeah.
We're going to finish the nouveau Halloween trilogy with Halloween Ends.
Yep.
We're going to talk about Wes Craven's Scream 2.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about the Pang Brothers, The Eye 2. They made a Carrie sequel like 23 years after the original Carrie for some reason, called The Rage Carrie 2. Came out in 1999, which also, to add insult to injury, was an amazingly good year for movies. So there's a reason nobody, there's a sequel to Carrie, really?
Well, there's remakes of Carrie, and anyways.
There's some serious buzz around the internet these days about a 28 years actually happening with the involvement of Danny Boyle.
I have read that.
We'll believe it when we see it. But we do have 28 days, and we're going to talk about the second one 28 weeks later.
Yeah.
Which I think is kind of an unsung sequel in a lot of ways.
It's solid.
Yeah. And then we're going to talk about Final Destination 2.
Yep, which there's get ready for Final Destination 6.
Yeah. From the ongoing saga of Can Man Beat Death? Spoilers, no, he cannot.
Yes.
That's what we're talking about today. Thanks for your ears.
Come and get me, motherfucker.
So we agreed, when we reviewed Halloween 2018 at the beginning of this season, we were going to do 3 different episodes and throughout it cover the Nouveau Halloween Trilogy.
Yes.
Before I get into my thoughts on Halloween Ends, I thought I would just pick your brain a little bit on how do you define a trilogy? What's the difference between trilogy and a series of movies that's part 1, part 2, part 3?
Well, I think a trilogy is sort of a solid narrative told through 3 movies or 3 books or 3 entities. Mm-hmm. That I think that's probably my best.
Each movie still has their own 3 acts.
Yeah.
But for me, a trilogy is telling one overarching story, and each movie kind of acts as an act, right? The first act, the second act, the third act, that's your trilogy.
Yeah. So in this case, we would say that this new Halloween series is basically the story of Michael and Laurie once again. Am I wrong?
I think that's what they were selling, and that's definitely the pitch that was made and the movie that was given to us in 2018. Mm-hmm. Halloween Ends is a complete separate entity almost. We have the same characters, and we are carrying through, although 4 years have passed since the events of Halloween Kills. But when I watched it for the second time, because I will confess the first time I watched the movie, I was close to hate.
Yeah.
I was mad at the movie.
Yeah.
And I wanted to calm down and revisit it. And when I was watching it again, I was looking for things to like.
Yeah.
I did find some things to like. But my fundamental problem with the movie is that it's a betrayal of the characters that we've established in the first 2 movies.
Yes.
Completely.
Totally.
And it's not a trilogy. In fact, you hurt yourself by calling it a trilogy. These movies have their own identities so securely and strongly that they are better standalone pieces. Just call it Halloween, Nouveau Halloween 1, Nouveau Halloween 2, Nouveau Halloween 3. Hell, you could keep going. That's obviously what you're setting up with the contagious evil.
Yeah.
But the character that you introduced us to with Jamie Lee Curtis in 2018 is completely unrecognizable in this movie. Especially since her daughter was fucking murdered by Michael Myers at the end of the previous movie, and she'd spent her life as this redneck, crazy military, violence-seeking woman. To have her turn into this dithering housewife, pretending that everything is A-okay, is everything we did not want from the character. And the fact that the creators of the movies didn't see that is shocking to me.
It is totally incorrect that the Laurie we had from the first, from Halloween and Halloween Kills, is this sort of bitter rage monster, and to see her almost live and let live. And I went, didn't your daughter, when we left, your daughter just got murdered, and now I know it's 4 years later, but you're live and let live and kind of sweet almost.
And also, isn't this your big final hurrah? Isn't this Jamie Lee Curtis saying goodnight to the Halloween franchise? Neither of us are naive enough to believe that Hollywood is done with the Halloween.
Yeah.
Obviously not. But I am amazed that this is a movie about a kid named Corey who gets a fanboy crush on Michael Myers, dates Laurie's granddaughter, and creates as much havoc, if not more havoc, in the film than Michael Myers.
Yeah.
This is so far from what the fans wanted.
Yes.
I am amazed.
Yeah.
You can say taking a risk is a bold thing. Killing off Newt and Hicks at the beginning of Aliens 3, it pissed a lot of people off, but say what you will, it was a ballsy choice.
Yeah.
This movie is full of ballsy, wrong choices. And because of that, it's really hard for me to recommend it.
Yeah.
Does it have good scenes in it? Good acting in it? Is there good moments in it? Does it deliver on the kills in a secondary fashion? Yes. But as a crowning, finishing moment for the Halloween franchise, this movie can go fuck itself.
Wow. It's interesting because the feeling you're giving me, like, that is a consistent feeling that I've got from a lot of people. Like, especially
how I feel.
Yeah, well, you're not alone. When I first saw this, like, I could feel the electricity with the audience members because they were excited.
Yeah.
Because I would argue that both Halloween and Halloween Kills delivered. They're not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but such goodwill was created with the first two movies that we thought, okay, David Gordon Green has it. All he has to do is stick the landing. And nope.
No, they decided to go the other way.
And I admire playing against or like trying something new. I will always give you like half a star or something for, try and defy expectations. And the film defied expectations. And it even started off well. But let's get right to it. The introduction of the Corey character was a huge mistake by the time you start Halloween Ends, because we don't know this character at all, and it was so unnecessary. I came away with Halloween Ends watching it. I think this is like the third or fourth time I've now seen it, with a couple things that and this is why I love David Gordon Green and also the other screenwriter whose name escapes me right now.
Danny McBride. There's a few others on this one as well.
They are deep lovers of the Halloween franchise.
I used to believe that. I don't know if I do anymore.
Well, what they've done with Halloween Ends has taken one of those narrative threads that they just let go at the end of number 4 and number 5. Because at number 4, we had that big, what would happen if Michael's quote-unquote evil could be transferred to another person, and Michael would have an associate to help him kill.
Sure. That
narrative was completely dropped by the end of 4 because we had this kid, the niece of Laurie Strode's character,
get infected by it.
Yeah, and even Danielle Harris, when she sat down, was quoted as saying, I was all excited to read Halloween 5 because where my character was left at the end, I was evil. And I expected to be this villain, but all of a sudden, here's this quick narrative. I've been in this group home. The stepmother survived, and I'm still a victim. Wah, wah, wah. They took that idea, and they ran with it. And Green was so obsessed with this idea that he forgot he was making a slasher film.
Well, and this is why I wonder about the genuineness of the fandom. Yeah. Obviously, they wanted to do well with Halloween 2018, and they poured themselves fully on into it.
Yeah.
And when they moved on to Halloween Kills, I felt like they were definitely listening to the fans and delivering the blood and the white mask and the Michael Myers in the purest form as the fans would expect it when they rented a Halloween movie in the 80s.
Yeah.
And for that reason, those two movies feel very different from each other, but they have their own strengths.
Yeah.
But if, as you say, this was about the transference of evil, we should have known this kid from the first movie. In fact, in the first movie, maybe he should have accidentally killed a kid, a trick-or-treater, mistaking him for Michael Myers or not, whatever, to set it up. Yeah. And then maybe in the second movie, he's pursuing Laurie's granddaughter, and we're getting to know him. So by the time he finds Michael Myers bloodied and wounded in the sewer in the third movie, we know who he is, we know where he's coming from, and we fucking give a shit.
Yeah.
Also, speaking of changing characters from where we left them, where was Michael Myers the last time we saw him before Halloween Ends? he had single-handedly killed about 30 people in a mob that had tried to kill him, then teleported to his home and killed Laurie's daughter.
Yeah.
And now he's barely able to move and like this weak thing.
Yeah.
And again, what do the Halloween fans want, you guys? They want Michael Myers, and they don't want him old and doddering and wearing a diaper and like dependent on Corey. Like again, these are bold, wrong choices. Yeah. And if you're really the Halloween fans that you say you were, you should know this. And the other thing that I've always found suspicious from day one with McBride and the director here is they said that they loved Halloween. Yeah. But they dismissed every Halloween except for the first one. And the movies forget this because they continually reference in Halloween the End this series of murders that's been going on. The discussion we had in the previous movie, I feel vindicated in. Okay. Because the only way it makes sense for the town to be this crazy is if every several Halloweens, half a dozen or more people get killed in this town. Yeah. That's the only reason all the town members would be these remorseless bastards to Laurie Strode all the time. To the degree that it's just not believable. Yeah. There's just scene after scene of people saying, hey, you're Laurie Strode. We hate your guts. Go die in a fire. Yeah. And again, as fans of Halloween, is that what we want from this movie? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, clearly David Gordon Green is a fan of John Carpenter. And his work. There are like lots of references. I giggled at the Christine references, especially in that junkyard scene. I was like, "Oh, that's Christine." Even like one of the actors is dressed like that rather large person running away from the Christine car. Right. Like she has the same hairstyle. So I was like, "Yay, Carpenter reference!" There's a lot of them. When the opening credits came up and it's the text from Halloween 3, I went, uh-oh. If you're homaging Halloween 3, which, folks, horror fans, I do not understand the love of Halloween 3.
I get that there's a cult following around it, and I get that it's its own thing, and that it's not a Michael Myers movie, but its own thing is pretty mediocre, you guys. Watch it again. Yeah. It has its moments, but it has more bad moments, but
to not exactly quote Quentin Tarantino, but kind of riffing off what he said, because he was talking about another movie. This is a film that only a great filmmaker... It is a bad movie that only a great filmmaker can make. Right. Where Gordon Green clearly has a great understanding of film language. The shot compositions are beautiful. Some of the transitions are great. I love the scene right after where Corey runs away from that party because he catches up with the mom and has that freak out. And the daughter, what's the daughter's name again? Allison? And she, goes, oh gosh, and she puts her hands together, and then it transitions to Cora on the bike. Like that is beautiful. I think the acting for a film of this caliber, like Jamie Lee Curtis won the Oscar this year. I would argue that her performance as Laurie Strode is even better in this movie than her supporting role.
I'm not going to say that she's bad in Everything Everywhere All at Once, but I am going to say that was a career Oscar. Yes. She was not given the award for that movie. She was given that award for her life's work.
Her body was work.
And I would not take it from her.
No.
Thank you. No, she and Will Patton have this kind of sweet, subtle, romantic thing going on. Which, again, I was kind of glad that they brought Will Patton back, because I was pretty convinced of his death when I first watched 2018. He looked pretty fucking dead to me.
Yeah, and well, he's alive in the hospital.
To talk about some of the things that do work in the movie. Yeah. Because there are a few things. The luring of the assholes into the sewers is a sacrificial metal. Like, it could have been handled better, but as a conceit, I think was kind of cool. Yeah. And the whole idea of Corey trying to Michael, but kind of bitching out a little bit at the end.
Yeah, I didn't like that Michael kills him, to be perfectly honest. Well, I thought it was a bitch move.
Before he kills him, but Corey has killed the husband, the doctor, when he goes in there, but he can't quite bring himself to kill the wife. Yeah. And then Michael just, again, because he seems to know where to appear and when. Yeah. Just shows up and does the job for him. And it's just like, I could see how that could be interesting. And it, like, whether or not it made sense at that moment, it was a genuinely surprising moment. Like, oh, hello. Here's another question. Yeah. Because I don't think that the filmmakers have an answer. Okay. Is there significance or power to the Halloween mask?
The movie wants it to be that way. The movie wants it to be that way.
How did Halloween 2018 start? Let's go back.
With Michael putting on the mask.
With the podcast journalist dude showing him the mask and all of the people in the asylum suddenly going crazy.
Yeah.
Except for Michael Myers, who seems to be specifically being stoic and rigid.
Yeah.
Because all of a sudden, like, when Corey finally goes crazy, from only slightly unlikable to completely, irredeemably, please die soon, he comes in, beats up Michael Myers with his fists, and steals his mask.
Yeah.
Fuck you for that, by the way.
Yeah.
The whole final thing with him coming with the mask.
You are angry at this movie. I like it, actually.
Well, the thing is, like, I came back watching and trying to find things to like, and I went into this review saying I'm gonna mention these things that I like. Yeah. But I wish I understood it, or I wish I believed that the creators of the film understood it.
Yeah.
Michael Myers again shows up and gets his mask back, and I do think that is the reason he chooses to kill Corey.
Yeah.
He's saved Corey every single time. He's let him off, and he's, killed with him.
Yeah.
But you took my mask.
Okay.
Go fuck yourself.
Okay.
But the evil isn't the mask. It's the shape. It's Michael Myers. It's unexplainable. If you say it's the mask, then you're explaining the evil, and you're treading down the same path of folly that Rob Zombie went, right? Like, all of these decisions, again, big swings.
Yeah.
Terrible decisions. Like, I would have believed that you hadn't seen any other Halloween movie at this point.
Yeah. It's front, like I said, as I said earlier, so much goodwill had been given, and I do believe they're fans. It's just and I don't understand, because it even seemed like they were setting this up at the end of Halloween 2018. What is the last shot of that movie? Do you remember?
The very last shot?
Of Halloween 2018.
Staring out Halloween 2018.
Yeah.
They're standing outside and the granddaughter's holding a knife.
Yeah. Like, to me, that was setting up that this evil was going to be transferred to her. That's what I took out of it. Like, why have the camera on her holding the knife with the movie ending thinking, okay, they're going to use her, even though we didn't know there would be sequels at that point. It was kind of setting up that she was going to play an important part. And she does. And it boggles my mind that, why didn't... Because I love the fact that they're exploring that the evil can be transferable, like a virus, if you will. The answer is so clearly there that it kind of has to be the granddaughter. And I think so much pathos, there's so much you could do with that particular narrative thread that you didn't need Corey.
Yeah. And again, it exposes the fact that there was no master plan. Clearly... They made 3 individual movies, which, by the way, would have been fine.
Yeah.
Just don't tell us that this is a, Halloween-defining capper, finishing, arc trilogy. Because it clearly isn't. And don't pretend that you had a plan. Because you clearly didn't. Like, I used to think that it was all about the COVID and everything being screwed up, the production being put back, those were the changes. Yeah. But no, when the blowback came back... Gordon Green doubled down. He said, it was never our intention to make the last movie about a confrontation between Laurie and Michael. And I'm like, really?
But
what the fuck have we been doing?
What a
waste of our time.
I know. And they're even advertising that, I guess, because he was kind of fighting an uphill battle, because we've already seen that story. And it was told rather well with H2O. Yeah. And you couldn't technically do that again. At the same time, if you're ending the Halloween franchise, you know that Michael and Laurie have to fight. Yeah. They have to.
And it has to at least be comparable to the level of what we've seen before.
Yeah.
And when we finally get a confrontation between Jamie Lee Curtis and Michael Myers...
It feels tacked on.
It is an afterthought to the movie, but I'm happy that it's finally happening.
Yeah.
I'm like, thank you. Too late, but thank you.
Yeah.
And even then, I love when she's got him pinned down on the table and she's, just giving the venom to him.
Yeah.
And, Jamie Lee's bringing that performance and pulling the hate. But the movie should have been building up to this point, and it could be, for the narrative of this movie, an unmissed deleted scene, practically.
Yeah.
And, my God... putting the body through the metal grinder.
Love it.
Like,
love it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That is decidedly definitive.
Yeah.
Like,
He ain't coming back. There's no, this is not somebody else that put the mask on and they got their voice box crumbled. He down. He gone.
Yeah,
He gone.
It's pretty unequivocal on that level. And it's like, so... And like we say, there'll be a new version of Halloween.
Yeah.
But it's like, if you guys want to make a sequel to my movie, good fucking luck.
Yeah.
And you know what? I respect that.
The
he
thing
was done with his Halloween movies, so
Yeah.
he was going to put a capper on it. And he definitively ended, but the whole movie should have been leading up to that and about that. And
Yeah.
the fact that it isn't is wrong. The fact that the granddaughter, the Allison character, went from a likable character to kind of, you understand where it's coming from. Like, she's wounded, her mom has died, and she's in her teenage rebel phase. But like the fact that she consistently sides with Corey over her grandmother is fucking frustrating. Like,
it's also illogical.
yeah, she comes off terrible.
Yeah, especially because as Halloween 218 begins, they're kind of like two peas in a pod a little bit.
Yeah.
They're kind of fighting against Mother, and then the arguments just seem so idiotic that they're having.
Not who the characters were.
Yeah.
Like, if someone had told me that these movies were written by different people each time,
Yeah.
I would believe it.
Yeah.
But they weren't.
Yeah. It's frustrating because there are some bad choices by the makers that you're like, oh.
I've been very, 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 very mean.
Yeah.
But
But-
here's the thing.
Yeah.
There are worse Halloween sequels.
Oh God,
than
yes.
Halloween Ends.
Oh God, yes.
There are several worse sequels to Halloween than Halloween Ends. And if you want to watch a horror slasher movie, I guess by the thinnest narrative, this is a slasher movie. Is it a Halloween movie? Just fucking barely, but yeah. It does get the job done, but it's not so completely incompetent and up its own ass. The filmmaking, the acting, the violent scenes, the kills when they're handled, like, he does a good job of them. Yeah. It's not incompetent in the execution.
No,
it's incompetent in the screenplay on almost every page.
It's really well made. I would even argue that like I almost buy the romance. That's the frustrating thing between Corey and Allison. Mm-hmm. I love even the Boy Hersher song that's played in the movie. Great aesthetics. I almost buy it. I can't feel sorry for Corey, and I think that's what
we should,
but it's impossible.
The movie opens with him accidentally being responsible for the death of a child he's babysitting.
Yeah,
the child's trying to scare him, and he's being really weird.
And the child's a dick, too.
Yeah, the layout of the house is just stuff that he takes a terrible fall and it kills him.
Brutal scene.
It's a brutal scene, and it's definitely a surprising way to open the movie.
Yeah.
But like from that, yes, you would think we should feel sorry for him, and he has a darkness surrounding him that has specifically to do with Halloween. Yeah. Which is a connection that he could have with Allison, because she lost her mom on Halloween. Yeah. And everybody looks at her weird, the same way everybody looks at him weird. Yeah. They have reasons to connect. Yeah. That the movie could use, but does not.
I know.
Like, it's right there.
I know, and that's why it's really, really frustrating.
And it's interesting how, like, the first time I watched the movie, I was like, I hate this character, but I think the acting here is really good. Yeah. When I was watching it the second time, I was starting to second guess myself. I was like, we are really supposed to care about Corey. We're all supposed to be sympathetic and on side with Corey. And I'm just not.
I couldn't. And I don't...
They really want us to.
Yeah. And you're supposed to see him as a tragic figure. Yeah. And I think the second... We lose it when he kills that doctor and the nurse.
Even the homeless dude. Like that was
the homeless dude was attacking him, though. Yeah. Our Michael Myers. So I didn't... I felt like he was kind of defending him.
But his reaction to it was like... Yeah. He got off on it.
Yeah. When Laurie sees the quote-unquote evil in him and says, you're not going to date my daughter, I can understand why he becomes even more defensive. But
he knows for a fact that she is right.
Yes.
So, like, if you love this girl, get the fuck away from her. Yeah. Right? Like, again, Corey's just not a good character. It's not well executed.
It's not well thought out.
And I think you're right. Because we talked about it a little bit before I press recorded. I think maybe it's not the actor. I think it just, the scripted... he's doing what he can.
Yeah. No. Like, they are actually acting the hell out of, what's being asked out of them. It's just, it doesn't work.
No.
It doesn't work. And because we can't quite sympathize with Corey, the whole romance angle, which the movie spends a hella long time with it. Like, ironically though, like, Michael has more screen time in this movie than he does in the 2018, which is kind of bizarre. But Michael Myers is a supporting character in this movie.
And he's weak for most of the movie.
Yeah, and that's no. Michael is strong.
Especially if this is his last hurrah.
Yeah. Like,
he's got to go out huge.
Yeah, no.
He dies like a punk.
Yeah, and the stakes need to be high going into that final fight.
Yeah.
Apparently David Gordon Green thought that we had spent so much time with the family that he wanted to get away with that. And I'm like, no, David. No. You have spent all of 2018 about how the trauma has affected not only Laurie, but the family, like, it's been passed on. And then you've got a big slaughter fest where the whole town is attacked, but it ends with the daughter being murdered. We want that narrative to be ended. Like, stick with the Strode family. Good Halloween movies, I think, have both the Strodes and Michael Myers. We love Laurie Strode so much. And I would even argue that Laurie needed to go down with Michael in flames.
Or at the very least, we get that moment of definitive yes payoff.
Yeah.
This is not just for me, not just for my daughter, but for my entire life that you have destroyed.
And she does that speech.
Fuck you, Michael Myers.
Yeah, she does that beautiful speech.
Finally get there, but that should have been what the movie was about. That shouldn't have been an afterthought addendum.
Yeah. No, he gets in his own way. He got so obsessed with the whole, Michael's evil is far more than just Michael Myers itself. It's in the soil, it's in the water, it's affected the whole town where it's gone crazy. And it's not a bad idea. I like that idea. Just stick with the Strode family. And I think he would have been far more successful and have more Michael.
As it stands, until we get new Halloweens, I would rather this had ended on Halloween Kills. I would have rather Halloween Kills bombed so bad at the box office that they canceled the third movie and it was left untethered.
Ah, that's hate.
And H2O, it's not a perfect movie.
No.
But it is 10 times the movie this is.
Yeah, it is.
10 times the movie that this is.
I know.
So we don't need this movie. Like, I'm sure I'll do eventually like a Halloween marathons again, and I won't be skipping this or whatever like that. But to say missed opportunity, to say disappointed, doesn't really do justice to me. Like, it's just, there are no words. I am not excited about the new Exorcist trilogy. That is how hurt I am as a fan by this movie. Respectfully, shame on everyone involved.
Wow, those are some bold words. I can hear
how I feel.
Yeah. No, hey, I hear my mom's voice. When I was bad as a kid, I'm not angrily. I'm just disappointed.
Which is almost worse. Be angry, please.
Yeah. I want to walk myself to the room now. Yeah. That's how it kind of is. But I can't be mad at David because I feel like he's a big Halloween nerd, just like all the in-jokes. I love that the Glee group are the bullies in this movie. That almost feels, I don't know.
Because it was funny, I associated it with McBride.
Yeah, that felt like a McBride joke, but I did giggle at that. I even loved the last song. As the credits were going, I kind of thought, what would be good right now? Blue Oyster's called "Don't Fear the Reaper." Oh, and it's there.
I've run out of things to say about Halloween Ends. I keep trying to find good things. And again, the acting is good. The execution is good. There's a couple of good kills in it. There's some good suspense in it. But as a Halloween fan, not only is this not what I wanted, it's kind of close to the opposite of what I wanted. And
you hurt the ones you love, man. Yeah. You hurt the ones you love.
So we're at almost half an hour. Is there anything else you want to say, or do you want to wrap this up for us?
I don't know. Like I said, I don't hate you, David. I love, because it seems like he read a lot of these Halloween movie websites, like Welcome to Haddonfield 1, where they have all this sort of fan horror fiction. I sort of see these three films as really expensive fan-made movies. Yeah. Because there's just so many references. I think he got a little obsessed with that.
Well, you and I have discussed how we're getting weary of this in the past.
Yeah.
And again, one or two, sure, especially in the age we're into, it's almost expected. But you can't build your movie on winking at other movies. It's irritating.
Yeah, and there's a lot of that here. I don't know. Like I said, it's one of those bad movies that only a good filmmaker can make. He just seems like he's one of us, but you took some wrong swings. You hurt me, David.
It's not boringly bad.
No, it's not.
Interestingly bad. It's a fascinating catastrophe.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's unfair to call it a catastrophe.
Hello?
Hello, Sydney. Remember me?
What do you want?
I want you. It's showtime.
Police are everywhere.
There is some freaked out psycho trying to follow in Billy Loomis's footsteps. You probably already know.
The way I see it, someone's out to make a sequel. So it's our job to observe the rules of the sequel. Number 1, the body count is always bigger. Number 2, death scenes are always much more elaborate.
You just want to sit here and wait and see who drops next?
I'm not interrupting anything, am I?
So, cool pop culture fact about Scream 2. Scream 2 is credited with being one of the first movies to produce ghost scripts to sort of trick and deceive internet trolls like myself, or internet detectives like myself, who have to try and find out, what the real script or real story is. Miramax was really concerned about letting leak who the real killers were.
Well, I believe the actual script did get leaked, but they leaked other scripts to sort of combat that.
That was all deliberate. Apparently there's a script where it's revealed that Randy is the killer. Mm-hmm. This is all made even more impressive because I'm going to come out and say that Scream 2, I would argue that Scream 2 is a stronger film than the original Scream. They were at a dead sprint making this movie. If you look at the release date, it is a year almost to the day. Kudos to Kevin Williamson and Wes Craven and all the crew. Because a legend had it, after the first weekend, they looked at the box office of Scream and they went, okay, we need to make a sequel. And Kevin Williamson, when he pitched the film to the Weinstein brothers, saying, here's the script, and I have a skeleton of idea, i.e. where the story could go. So they looked at, the box office numbers saying, go sequel, greenlit it, and then they went, they ran. So, they cast it, he wrote it, they pre-production, shot it, edited it in under a year. Yeah. That is impressive.
It is. Here's the thing. I've heard the variation of that story before, and I do believe that Kevin Williamson had this in his head. Yeah. He didn't know he was going to get to do Scream 2.
No, he didn't.
But he wanted it, and I think that story was largely well-formed in his head before he sat down to write. I do not believe he was starting from absolute zero.
No, he wasn't. He wasn't.
I used to be on your page where I used to argue that Scream 2 was the best chapter of the Scream franchise.
Okay.
I have slowly kind of reverted back to the first one, but still, this is high praise. I think the obvious choice is they use it as an opportunity to lampoon sequels,
yes,
which is the theme of the episode that you and I are discussing. So the meta attack on sequels is great because we can enjoy them referencing all the mistakes and all the stupid things that the sequels tend to do, and also point out the good things and the things that we can expect. The same way they establish the rules to a slasher movie, we get the rules of the sequel. Bigger body count, a little bit more gruesome, a little bit more complex, bigger budget. All of these things align. But what Scream 2 does that Scream 1 did very well, and that the rest of the Scream movies going forward, I think, struggle with a little bit more, is perfectly balance the satire while still being a horror movie.
Yep.
Because Scream 2 is funny and as meta and as deconstructive as it is, absolutely works as a slasher movie.
Oh, totally.
I think now, honestly, watching it again, and I've seen it lots of times, it's a go-to, Wes Craven slasher movie. There are two elements to the movie that I think, obvious, easy cuts for me.
Sure.
And quibbles. I just want to set up, I have this thing with focusing on the bad things. I love Scream 2. I want that to be sort of the bullet point here.
Yeah.
I think the business with with Sydney and this play that she's in.
Yeah.
And her having the visions of Scream mask while she's in rehearsals, and will she quit the play, will she not quit the play? The only thing that supplies to the movie is the backstage area for the final confrontation, the
Sure.
whole theater thing.
That's why it's there.
Beyond that, it actually actively slows down the movie.
Yep.
And for me, I know it's a big homage to Top Gun, but when Jerry O'Connell sings the song,
Yeah.
it just goes on for so long, and it's so saccharine that it's like, it almost makes me cringe away, like, just like, oh, please make this scene be over.
Yeah.
Like, it's one of those, like...
But we're meant to like him with that scene.
It's kind of important because we're supposed to make us like him and be suspicious of him at the same time, because what better way to make us, not think it's the boyfriend? Look how much he loves her, blah, blah, blah.
And he gets screwed.
Yeah, but honestly, that's all I got.
Yeah.
Those two things, and I will call them quibbles. That's all I got.
Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned, every scene, every sequence, every kill in this movie works.
It's tight.
100%. And it's 2 full hours. Usually that's a little bit long for a slasher movie for my taste.
Yeah.
But it blows by.
Yeah.
It blows by. And it's really rare that you see movies that do it that well. I think Die Hard 2 is a fairly close example in that it at least gets the energy and momentum of the first film right. Like, everything that you wanted and expected as a fan, you got with a little bit of interest.
Yeah.
It was like the opposite of the experience of Halloween Ends in that way.
Yeah. Because it is more of the same, but it's done so well.
They're not able to top the opening with Drew Barrymore, I don't think.
No.
We get Omar Epps and Jada Pinkett going to the premiere of Stab, which is an adaptation of Scream.
Yeah.
Again, meta.
Yeah.
And the idea of all these people being gifted the ghost suits.
Yeah.
So, like, it was a free press junket thing for the movie. So everybody has a ghost costume now. So kind of justifies, like, we can see ghost faces everywhere.
Yeah.
And comment on how black people are underrepresented in the slasher movies, and they're always the first people to die.
Yeah.
And these 2 great actors are underrepresented in the film, and they're the first 2 to die.
Yeah.
And still, high five all around.
Yeah.
I think that when I first watched it, the moment of the movie where I kind of think, holy shit, this might actually even be a better movie, and, like, I can't wait to see what happens next, is the central sequence in the park where we lose Randy.
Yep.
Because it was the one thing, maybe, as a younger horror movie fan when I went to the movie, I genuinely did not see it coming.
No.
It wasn't that I didn't guarantee that Randy was going to make it till the end of the movie. I didn't think he was going to die then in that way.
Yeah.
And when it happened, I kept on telling myself, "Is this really happened? Did what?
Yeah, it's shocking.
And all of a sudden, it goes from establishing the setup and that there's a killer and is he a copycat to the stakes are 1,000% real.
Yep.
As a horror fan, as a film horror fanatic, Randy is us. We related to him 100%.
Oh, God,
it was like the movie just killed us.
Yep.
And you're like, it's a Psycho moment. It's like when people watch the original Psycho and their main character gets killed in a shower a third of the way through the movie, and you're like, what now? And I'm not scared, but now, like, what now? Give it.
Yeah.
So later on in the movie, when Dewey gets stabbed in the back, you can believe that he's dead.
Yeah.
When the stakes are coming really clear. Even for a brief moment where they try to do a subterfuge where you think for a second Courtney Cox might be the killer.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense, but for that 1 second, because of all the craziness that's already happened, is Courtney Cox the killer? How the fuck is that supposed to work?
Yeah.
So, bravo.
Yeah.
I think that like you talked about in the opening, the fact that they were sort of making this up as it goes might be a little bit oversold. Like I say, I do think that definitely on the screenplay writer there was a plan. Yeah. And it was being well executed, and I do think that Wes Craven, this was his 17th or 18th movie. I don't know how many movies. He just made Scream, and he got the cast back. Everybody got a big pay raise who was coming back, I guarantee you. Mm-hmm. Everybody was super stoked to be there. Mm-hmm. They knew the movie was going to be a hit. Mm-hmm. They wanted to give us, and they delivered.
Yep. I will also give kudos, not only the time constraints that they had, but it's been released now that Harvey and Bob Weinstein were not fun to work for.
Ever,
there's a joke that Patrick Lussier talks about you get paid by Miramax to deal with the shit that the Weinstein brothers do to you and your film. That's what you're getting paid for, actually.
Apparently, there's very few people that they would not deeply mess with their work.
Yeah.
Quentin Tarantino worked with them, but they were smart enough to just let Quentin Tarantino make his movies. But if if you were produced with them, you're beholden to them and their vision. They're not beholden to yours.
Yeah.
You are beholden to theirs.
Yeah.
Such is their reputation.
I kind of wonder, there's the sort of joke that New Line is the house that Freddie built. I kind of wonder if Miramax was the house that Quentin built with Reservoir Dogs and then Pulp Fiction and all those things.
Well,
and
all
that's
of
why
the horror movies, all of the mid-budget horror movies, so many of those have the Miramax logo on them.
Yeah.
When you watch them from the 90s.
Yeah. If you want to remind yourself how much of a good filmmaker Wes Craven is, watch this movie. Like, the sequences in this movie, especially the one where they've got, Ghostface chasing, what's the lead character's name? Sydney. And, Ghostface is knocked unconscious in the front seat, and
Sydney has to crawl through the back. They're in a police car, just to set the scene. They can't get out the back seat.
Yeah.
The car has crashed.
Yeah.
And they found a way that they can crawl to the front seat and get out, except for Ghostface is unconscious.
Yeah.
They have to literally go over his lap and out the window. When I watched this with my kids, that was the scene that fucked with them the most.
Yeah, it's so well shot, and it's such a great idea. And of course, Sydney's going to go back and try and pull the mask off because you want to know who the killer is. Like, it's such. Like, I thought, wow, bravo.
And again, part of you would say, "Oh, don't stop, just run away," or part of you would say, "Take the mask off right away." And in another horror movie that wasn't as well executed as this, I would be taking points away.
Yeah.
Because the second they turned around, I knew A, he's not in the car, and B, her roommate is about to die.
Yeah.
And it, and you're right.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter because it's done so well.
Yeah.
And you didn't know it until that moment, right?
Yeah.
If you'd known it from the second they got in the car, right, it would be different.
Yeah.
But it was just a nice extra detail there.
Yeah. I have such great memories of Scream 2. It's one of probably the best cinematic experiences I ever had because I went opening night at Center Cinemas, may it rest in peace. And everyone was like, ooh, they were all excited for this. And they hooted and hollered in the right places. Like when Randy died, everyone, like there was, because the Gandalf of the film series has been killed. Like they threw things down. And it's such a well-shot sequence in the park as well.
Yeah, I don't think we adequately, I'm sure people have seen the movie, but it's broad daylight. It's broad daylight. They get a phone call. And they know that wherever the killer is, they can see them. So they leave Randy with the phone, and they spread out in the park to find anybody with a phone to catch the killer. And Randy's just basically standing in the middle of a park, talking, just keeping the Ghostface voice busy on the phone and being Randy. So as these people are spreading out, they split up into different areas, and sometimes they go around a corner and like, stop isolating yourselves, you guys. But Randy's on the phone and he's in the middle of everything. Like he feels like he's safe.
And he's got some balls in this movie too.
And he's slowly backing up to where Gail's van is, and that's where the killer is. He pops out of the van, pulls him into it, stabs him, and then runs away. Yeah. Also, great detail of this movie. Gail's co-anchor journalist dude, the guy who runs the camera for him, after Randy's death and reading Gail's book, says, "You know what? I'm out."
Yep.
And as much as it's like another, like they underuse a black character in the movie, it's something that needed to happen in a horror movie where a guy just said, "You know what, you guys? There's a way to survive this. Goodbye. I'm going the fuck home. You guys deal with this problem heavy. This has nothing to do with me, and I want it to have nothing to do with me." And he lives through the movie. He comes back at the end when everything has been resolved to help, like, the Courtney Cox character do her news story.
Gail Weathers,
but I love that they finally did it. It was sort of like in the original Halloween 2 where they had the guy slip on the blood and smash his head. It's like, sooner or later a horror movie had to get around to doing that. Thank you. And, like, I love that. Again, maybe a case could be made that there could be some more, people of color in this movie. But I like that they were tactical about it.
I would love to sit down with Kevin Williamson. I kind of get the impression that I would probably get along well. He's a lover of horror films. Do you remember the opening of the movie where Omar Epps kind of leans into the bathroom stall and what's being whispered? That's a big clue to who the killer is, because what he's actually whispering is from Black Christmas. I didn't know this at the time because I hadn't seen Black Christmas at that point. I've now since seen it and love it. It's a classic Canadian horror film.
Yeah.
But what he's whispering is what the killer whispers on the phone, and it's a big wink, wink, nudge, nudge. It's the mother. Spoilers.
Yeah.
That is one of the killers, and I love seeing this time. There are little moments where the movie winks and nods that there's more than two killers. You get it first with the Sarah Michelle Gellar character where she's talking on the phone with one of them, but then Ghostface runs in the background. And I went, okay, that's the movie signaling once again that there are two killers. I love those little details. And there's little in-jokes all around to other horror movies when homage wasn't done to death as it is now. So kudos Kevin Williamson. He just seems like he's a lover of the horror, both good and bad.
Yeah.
And I dig that.
So I want to move a little bit into spoiler territory here.
Okay.
Not that we haven't been talking about deaths or anything, but I mean like the actual killers and the reveals. I did, by process of elimination, correctly make the assumption that Timothy Oliphant was one of the killers.
Yeah.
But I didn't call Laurie Metcalf. And I fucking hated myself for it. Because when you watch it again, you're like, what the hell is Laurie Metcalf doing in this movie? And even if she was legit, if she was just a reporter, why have Laurie Metcalf play that part? Like, this is a seasoned stage, film, and television actress. Yeah. And as we see her in the movie, it's a bit part. She's like a foil to Courtney Cox.
Yeah.
I actually kind of resented myself for not calling that one, but I didn't. And once again, I didn't call the killers in a Scream movie. The first time they fooled me because of the two killer thing. It's just like I was lost. Yeah. Nothing seemed to make sense unless it was someone we didn't know. And then, there's two of them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I won't say that this movie completely fooled me, but it was very, dramatically satisfying.
Yeah.
I would argue both Oliphant and Metcalf, once the masks come off, might overplay their hand in the crazy department.
Timothy does a little bit. Yeah.
But it doesn't hurt the movie,
Yeah.
And it's sort of, I get this feeling like, in a weird way, the Ghostface killers, especially the Oliphant character, couldn't wait to tell them it was him, right?
Yeah.
Like, he was, this is going to be amazing, right?
Yeah.
But I think that they could have twirled their mustaches just a little less. But again, this is a small clue.
Yeah. You almost get the sense that the Metcalf character was almost annoyed with her protege, that she has no problem killing him. So, I like that. I kind of, like you, I was also...
Sorry about that.
Like you, I was also sort of... I couldn't believe that I missed Laurie Metcalf as the killer. Especially there's the scene where her character gets to the crime scene before Gale Weathers does, and there's the whole, Gale, you're just getting here, but how did she know to be there?
Why would she be there?
Yeah, and then it's one of those, I'm so stupid for not picking that up. Yeah. So kudos for them for doing that.
Well, it was a classic Murder, She Wrote thing, where it's like this famous person in this tiny part, I should have called it.
Yeah.
So in summation, this is one of the very best Scream movies. Yeah. I am updated to the most recent Scream movies too, and I still think it's one of the best Scream movies.
Yeah. Here's a question I have for you though.
Yeah.
Spoilers, because with the new trilogy, they're starting to kill off some of the legendary characters. Yeah. Why, for the life of me, is Gale Weathers still alive? Because I find her so fucking annoying in this movie. Like, she's kind of like, by the end of Scream 1, she comes around and she's part of the crew. But with this one, the first thing she does is, shove Cotton Weary right in front of Sidney Prescott. And she's a villain almost. Like, she's so annoying, and I don't buy her in the Dewey romance.
I think that the mistake is that they keep on redeeming her character.
Yeah.
And then in the next movie, she seems to have learned nothing. Mm-hmm. But then they redeem her character.
Yeah.
But in the next movie, she seems like she's still, no matter what terrible or wonderful thing happens to her, on some level, she's still Gale Weathers. That might be more true to reality than movies like to give us, but I think sooner or later, they just had to sort of pick their sort of pedigreed, representation for Scream. Yeah. And the fact that she got divorced from Arquette complicated things, and the fact that the actress who played Sydney wanted more money. I think you're going to have to get used to Gale Weathers, because I think she is our legacy character from now on.
That's frustrating. Why kill Randy? Watching Scream 2, I'm like, I don't like Gale. I really don't yet. Look, man, Scream 2 is great. It's a great Wes Craven movie. He knows how to make a horror thriller. Like, his sequences are just choice. It's a great script. Go see it.
If you haven't seen it already, I
Yeah.
mean, I have the feeling like we're talking to a lot of converts.
Yeah,
tonight.
yeah.
So The Eye is, I believe, made in Hong Kong. I hope I'm not wrong about that. By the Pang brothers. I reviewed, like, in my first season. It's like one of the 21st episode or something like that, the original one. And I kind of got focused on sort of interpreting the horror movie as like almost a superhero origin story.
Yeah.
And I kind of regret it because upon listening to that review, I undersold the horror elements of it.
Yeah.
Because what The Eye 2 does is it's a standalone sequel, which we haven't really talked about yet. Sometimes you do a sequel where we're carrying on with the same characters, same setting, same everything like that. Whereas sometimes it'll just like the same premise will happen to different characters in a different place. Mm-hmm. The original Eye dealt with a blind woman who got an operation so that she could see. And after that operation, she could see dead people.
Yeah.
This movie takes the plot element of a woman who can see dead people and it causing her to go crazy and fucking up her life. But she's not blind.
No,
she's this completely untethered, manic depressive, suicidal woman who, when her relationship ends, tries to kill herself upon being resuscitated. Has two surprises. A, she discovers she is pregnant and was pregnant when she tried to commit suicide. And B, she can also see dead people.
Didn't she know she was pregnant when she tried to kill herself, though?
It was said to her, well, maybe, I can't remember. The doctor pointed out to her when she woke up that she was pregnant, almost like he was telling it to her, but it could be a lost in translation thing.
Okay, I could be wrong.
I apologize. Maybe that's amazing. Either way, she's in a terrible, terrible place, and it's being further complicated by these visions of dead people. And it had been a long time since I'd seen the movie, but when it came up in my mind or when I remembered it, there was always these specific sequences that would come to my mind. Most specifically, a scene I want to talk about, a ghost on an elevator. But how the Pang brothers handle the supernatural moments. Mm-hmm. They're so good at it. They actually shot a movie in Saskatchewan called The Messengers. The movie is kind of, but the ghosts in it, like the supernatural moments in it, they have a real good take on it. Like the same way Sam Raimi has his own personality to the supernatural, the Pang brothers tell different movies that have supernatural elements, but they always feel like it's being handled by the Pang brothers in that way. But what I didn't remember, and I don't know why, because it's unmissable, is the terrible brutality and darkness of this movie. It deals with suicide, depression, abortion, not wanting to be a mother, and it presents us with a female character who is staggeringly unsympathetic.
Unlikable. The character's name is Joey Chung. She is not likable, but the movie
I think
works.
we're supposed to be like, she's like at the ragged end, she's mentally ill, and we should pity her on that level. But the choices that she continuously makes, and the way the movie seems to take more seriously her fear and her peril than the very real human issues of suicide and abortion. The fact that even a fetus is exploited for a jump scare kind of threads it's walking a very fine line.
It's exploitive.
It is exploitive, but I think at its heart it wants to be like a Conjuring movie, like a Jump movie, like a Boo movie. But the content of the movie is so dark that it's actually undercutting the horror. The subject matter is more horrifying than the horror elements of the film. And I don't know why I didn't remember that until rewatching it on this viewing. And it adds an extra weight to the movie, which I can't quite resolve in my mind if it is helping or hindering the proceedings. Technically, though, I have a lot of respect for the Pang brothers as filmmakers, and I think if you want to watch a jump scare movie or a ghost movie that's, you know, maybe got a little bit of a sharper edge, I wouldn't steer you away from the I-2. But I have to attach the rider. It is very definitely not for everyone.
No. If you have problems with surgery, you are going to have a problem with this movie. Like, it is surgery porn.
Yeah.
There's more than one scene of, you know, a pregnant woman on the operating table being cut open or having some kind of surgery that you're like, ugh. I think it's pretty horrifying. I do like this movie, even though I do have some huge problems with it, but it's more to do with the J-horror genre in itself, because not all, but a lot of them do more episodic storytelling than linear, straight storytelling.
This happens, and then a few days later, this happens.
Yeah. It does focus on one character, but they're more interested in the actual ghosts themselves. You know, it's the same problem I have with Ju-on, where different characters almost come in and out of the story, but the main focus is this vengeful ghost. But because they're so episodic storytelling, the way the story jumps at points, certain plot holes are left just not talked about anymore. Like it seemed in that sort of that exact narrative thread, those problems are there, but then when the movie jumps, it's just completely ignored. And it's jarring. Like, there's a scene where, and I can't remember what exactly happens, but our lead character is dealing with this really awful problem involving the ghost, and then it ends, and then the next scene, she's in a pool swimming with other women who are about to...
And it's like the previous scene never happened.
Yeah, and it's like, what? Yeah. And that's one of the criticisms I have. But because...
And this is a common thing that I bump into with movies from this side of the ocean, because I love, like, A Tale of Two Sisters.
Yeah.
I still think that should have been on your best of the decade, list personally, but, like, there are scenes like that in that movie where something so horrifying and inexplicable happened. Yeah. And then they would cut to the next day at lunch and everybody's eating like nothing had ever happened.
Yeah.
And it's the Host does that too. Where it just tonally jumps all over the place.
Asian horror has that sort of problem a little bit.
If it's a problem, it's different.
It's different, but it's jarring, and it makes me go, well, then what about this narrative thread? Like, and it's not explored anymore.
For me, and I think first of all, I will acknowledge, I've always found hospitals creepy and unsettling. I think it's just because when I was a kid, when I went to visit people in hospitals, sometimes it was like the last time I would ever see them, and I just have negative associations, you know? Yeah.
Well, hospitals can be creepy things.
My last memory of one of my grandfathers is him unconscious in a hospital bed, and I almost wish I hadn't gone. Yeah. You know, like, and the smells and the it's clean.
Very sterile.
You can still, you sense death here.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And it is like a really good place to set a horror movie, and I think specifically a ghost movie, because a lot of death happens there, and they mind that. But it's interesting, the suicide, the abortion, the visceral operations that you're talking about, they're all sort of levers into the supernatural jump scares. It's like, look at this, and now we're going to jump it up and get scary. Yeah. And for me, the thing that we're looking at is arguably scarier than the ghosts that we're going to see. I mean, there's I don't know if you can call it a twist, but the reveal at the end of the movie that she's not alone in her peril.
Yes.
But I wanted to talk about the specific scene involving this security system on the elevator.
Okay.
I know I have talked a lot of shit about David Lynch in my podcast history, specifically with Jason Dupree. Shout out to the Dubes. But,
Dubes. Love you, Dubes.
There's a scene, I believe it's in Fire Walk with Me. I believe it involves David Bowie.
Okay, I think I know exactly the scene you're talking about.
There's a camera system, and he walks in, he looks through the camera system. It's just an empty hallway. He walks out into the hallway. We see him through the camera, and he looks at the camera. Nothing happened. He walks back in, looks through the camera. And they do it several times until, of course, when he comes and looks, and he's still in the hallway. Yeah. La, da, da, da. There's a scene in this movie that reminds me so much of that and is quite creepy, where she goes to get on an elevator, but there's this guy with his back to her, standing in the corner. And she can sense something's wrong, and she steps back and she looks at the screen. And there's nobody in the elevator.
Yeah.
And then, like, some people get by and they get on the elevator and she's just sort of standing there unsettled. And then she just waits.
Yeah.
And the elevator comes again. And the dude's still there.
Yeah.
And she gets on the elevator.
Yeah.
Now, typically, I would be saying, like, what in the fucking world are you doing? Like, this is like a ridiculous character choice. It's sort of... my whole idea of the premise of Pet Sematary is like it's a story predicated on people making terrible decisions so that the most horrific thing possible can happen in every scene, right?
Yeah.
I don't know why she chooses to get on the elevator, but I believe it. I can't articulate why, but like I believe it. She knows there's something there. She knows it's got to be something supernatural.
Yeah.
But she chooses to step on that elevator. And nothing about her character has been strong or resolved or like anything like this before that. There's just something about the way that scene is shot. And even when the ghost slowly turns and is approaching her from behind and you realize its feet aren't touching the floor.
Yeah.
That was a detail that was kind of like, would have been nice to notice earlier too. I don't know. Everything about how the scare scenes are handled are really, really good. Yeah. I'm just unsure about the package that these things are wrapped in.
I felt very uncomfortable with this movie, but I argue that's a good thing.
Right.
I want to talk about the scene where she's in the hospital bed and she sees, I think it's her neighbor maybe, and that ghost starts to come in, almost like a C formation, and it's going in through. Well, I imagine her genitals or something. There's a whole like body horror element to that that made me feel so uncomfortable, and I thought that's a really good horror trick right there.
Well, I think the movie is playing overtly with the fear of pregnancy and the fear of parenting, but the actual big reveal is that I don't know if it happens to all ghosts or just bad ghosts or these ghosts that are trapped in limbo. They don't like where they're at.
Yes.
And newborn babies are viable vessels for them to get back into our world.
Yes, that's horrifying.
That is a fucking scary idea. And that reveal at the end, when there's all those pregnant women in the waiting room or whatever,
and all those ghosts are there,
and all ghosts are huddled around them waiting for their turn. Like, this isn't just happening to her. She's just able to see it.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
And very scary. And in a way, I think that is actually a nerve that they could have played more. The fear of parenting, the fear of the thing that The Shining and The Babadook and other horror movies, the psychological. If we had known, like, that part of the reason, for some reason, and I could be misremembering it, Lee, the reason that she commits suicide was she was heartbroken over the breakup.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was about the pregnancy, but maybe you're right. And if she'd had that conscious thing, maybe it could be a judgment on her character that that's why these ghosts were going to attack her, because she was rejecting this life within her.
Yeah.
But no. Any woman at that hospital who's pregnant, and I guarantee you they didn't all try to kill themselves before they got there. Like, there is a real interesting area that could be further explored.
Yeah. What impresses me most about the Eye 2, though, is Joy is completely unlikable. Like, what I gathered, because it's been a little while since I've seen it to us recording now, I got the impression that she's using her lover's credit card. Like, she's buying all this stuff when she's phoning him. You know, saying, you know, I'm going to kill myself. It's all your fault. I'm also going to rack up your credit card bills. Oh, I'm pregnant, by the way, blah, blah, blah. And then she, I think, takes a whole bunch of pills, if I'm not mistaken, right? Yeah. Like, she is unlikable. Yeah. Let's fast forward to the climax of this movie, because she is put through the ringer. Like, I would almost argue that the punishment does not fit the crime. Once again, spoilers. And if you don't like J-horror in particular, I would strongly recommend wait to the end of this movie, because I have never quite seen a sequence quite like this. We find out that one of the ghosts that's haunting her is her lover's wife. She has killed herself and has caused, I think, an accident, which is like, it's all connects. Yeah. So the dead wife is really getting revenge.
It is personal in that case.
Yeah. She can't take it anymore. Like, she's seen all these ghosts. She's seen a ghost, kind of, swoop in to, go into another person. The movie then tells us that her fetus is going to be possessed by an evil spirit. Like, she's had enough, and it's exhausting. Like, we get it. She does, and they show this. She walks up the stairs of the hospital, walks to the edge, sees, the wife goes right there, and says, "I want to die," and she proceeds to step off the roof, fall to her death, like smack, like a pancake, and the ghost refuses to let her die. So she crawls back up, and her body like is broken, like her arms and legs are shattered, and the film stays with her as she crawls back up again the stairs, and you hear the creak and the cracks of her bone, and I'm going, ow, 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 and she proceeds to try and kill herself again. Hats off, Pang Brothers. Like, that is brutal.
But again, the darkness of and it's a horror movie, and horror movies are allowed to deal with darkness. I don't believe in like saying no, but for me, I would like go with maybe one of these, right? Like the suicidal, or the abortion, or the crazy level of severe depression. Like even before the supernatural shit entered this woman's life, she has some serious problems. Yeah. I also wasn't sure, and again, there could be a cultural difference or a lost in translation. Again, are we supposed to like her? Is there something?
No.
Because I kept on looking for a way in on her, and I think again it would be more effective if we felt for her, right? I mean, we can be sympathetic for the amount of pain and psychological trauma she goes through, but a lot of it, maybe not most of it, but a lot of it is self-inflicted.
Well, yes, and that's why I was impressed that I was with the movie, because usually if our lead characters aren't likable, I find it hard to engage. It's not impossible, but I found her so unlikable, but I was like, dear God, let it end for you by that point. Let it end. Like, you have paid your debt to society and then some. Like, I was starting to get mad at the wife ghost for letting her go through this. I think her revenge is warranted, but I'm like, dude, too much. You took too much. Too much. But it's impressive. I don't know if I'd say enjoy the uncomfortableness, but I can get behind uncomfortable horror. Yeah. And I think that's what this is. It's not a fun horror movie. No. Per se.
I think that's what makes it stand out in this list, actually.
Yeah. That's why I think it's a strong horror film. I think all the stereotypes and tropes of J-horror, if you don't like them, you're going to find them problematic. But, the girl with the long black hair we see there, like I said, the episodic storytelling, just the style of jump scares that is familiar with J-horror, they're all there. The melodramatic acting, like there's like, and that's something that I discovered.
I made my peace with it.
Yeah, it's very typical of. I found that with a lot of Korean soap operas. Yeah, that's all there.
There is a level of emoting that we're a little bit not used to. Yeah, this seems a little bit big, a little bit theatrical, but again, I went with it.
Yeah, I like the nastiness of this movie.
It is nasty, but it's still strong.
Yep.
All your life, you've known that you were different.
Must be nice not having to be like everybody else.
Sometimes I really wish I could just be one of the shiny, happy people,
Come on, this girl's just a skank. You don't even know her. What, you do?
Yeah, I do know her.
The others don't understand you.
At least be seen with someone cool, someone who counts.
Maybe somebody needs to teach the two of them a little lesson.
And they...
Rachel?
Don't want you around.
If you want to talk out your feelings...
No!
Well, to hell with them.
So you want to know how I'm feeling today? When Rachel was growing up, did you ever see objects move by themselves? What is wrong with this picture? You've heard of Carrie White, haven't you? 73 people died night of the prom.
Next semester.
Rachel!
Terror.
Dude, it's her! It's her doing it!
Runs in the family. The Rage Carrie 2.
Man, we missed another killer party.
So we started this podcast talking about what do you want from sequels. Mm-hmm. The problematic thing is sometimes we don't want sequels.
Yeah.
And in the case of Brian De Palma's Carrie, which was an adaptation of the first published Stephen King novel, that was an epic horror movie. Yeah. I think it was one of the best and most important and most influential horror movie of that decade. Mm-hmm. And to wait 23 years later, to the ass end of the 90s, to sort of drop this somewhat slapdash feminist Carrie sequel to the boards here, it just doesn't seem like it's necessary.
Yes.
But if here we are to review the movie, we're going to talk about the movie, we watched the movie. Getting past the fact that, yes, this was a completely unnecessary, needless sequel. Here's some things that they did that, by horror movie standards, I appreciate.
Okay.
They directly tethered it to the original movie, both with characters and with setting. Mm-hmm. It's not just another psychic girl in another school. She is the half-sister, we find out through the story, mm-hmm. of Carrie White. And Sue Snell, the one student that had tried to befriend Carrie and be decent and set her up with
Amy Irving, yeah,
is now working at the high school and recognizes in this young girl everything she saw in Carrie White is right here. And she knows right away.
Yeah.
So thank you for that. And it's not a direct repeat of the Carrie movie, but the familiarness is there. And they're going to 90-fy it in the way that the original Carrie is incredibly 70s.
Yeah.
The Rage is incredibly 90s.
Yeah, it is so 90s. Scream 2 has that same problem.
We recently talked about, well, I guess it'd be a while ago to the ears of our listeners, but Pet Sematary 2.
Yeah.
I'm not going to make the amount of excuses that I did to this movie that is for Pet Sematary 2. But it's weird how they have some things in common in that they're incredibly of the period that they were.
Yeah.
They're Stephen King sequels that are completely unnecessary and not really based on any genuine Stephen King text. And in both films, there are some guilty things that I find to like.
Okay.
The difference is, in Pet Sematary 2, there was enough guilty things in it for me to like that I sort of edged over and said, yeah, okay, I'll give it a recommend. I can't quite get there with The Rage Carrie 2.
Yeah.
There's just something a little bit too simplistic about it. But I'm not going to accuse it of things that I have talked about at the beginning of not giving a shit.
Yeah.
I think that they were trying. I just think that it didn't necessarily come together. I think that there's a B plot with Sue Snell trying to get Carrie's mom out of this mental institute and bring the two together that is completely useless to the movie. Like, cut all of those scenes, you wouldn't notice it. I think that, is it Jason London, the guy from Mallrats, who plays the one male character in the movie who is likable, is flat as piss on a plate. He just doesn't have any personality other than he's not foaming at the mouth evil like every other man in this movie.
Yeah, the male race is not well represented.
All of the boys have this competition of like scoring points by sleeping with women and disposing of them.
And videotaping
it. They bully a young Mina Savari to death and they think it's hilarious. Even the female students who know about it think it's hilarious. All of the people in this high school are so terrible. I do think it's deliberate because, of course, it's going to culminate in a lot of these people getting killed. The fact that we don't like them is going to make it easier to watch them die. But every scene chips away at the very minimal credibility that this movie carries. Mm-hmm. And by the time we get to the big, satisfying, let's kill all the bullies, and as I've said, as a bully child myself, I can get behind watching that kind of revenge. It is so far and so pale in comparison to the Brian De Palma film that it does deserve its fate, which is to be utterly forgotten. Most people, if you said, there's a Carrie 2, they're like, what? Really? Yeah, there's a Birds 2 as well, and nobody cares about it either.
Yeah.
I feel a lot of effort from some of the directing and especially the stylized black and white 90s video photography, very much dating the movie, but at the time they were sort of trying to give it some edge and some rawness.
Sure.
And it came out in the wrong year, and by that I mean like 1980 might have been too late. This was 1999.
Yeah.
So it's a thumbs down review, but I don't hate it. A lot of people are like, this is the worst thing that ever happened. And I have seen worse sequels. I have seen worse sequels than this. I just think, there's nothing credible. There's nothing to hold you through it. It doesn't have the emotional depth or as good as this girl actress is, she doesn't have the emotional integrity of Sissy Spacek in Carrie, where we understand what she's doing is evil, but we still kind of care for her.
She's a lot stronger than Carrie White.
Yeah.
Like, Carrie White is this sort of mousy character that we feel great empathy or sympathy for. And it's not that we don't feel sympathy for her, but she can fight back.
We believe she can defend herself, whereas Carrie never had that going for her.
I guess the question I have is why would we don't need this sequel? We don't. I think the difference between something like you mentioned Pet Sematary 2 and this, Pet Sematary 2 is fun. Like, it's not a good movie, but it's fun.
And it also happened a year after the original movie.
Yeah. The Rage Carrie 2 is not
ugly.
It's ugly. I would argue that, like, Carrie, the original story, is ugly, but necessary. But if you're making a sequel to an ugly movie, you're not a lot of people are going to gravitate to that. Like, people, I don't know, maybe people love the ugly and go to it, but it's such a nasty movie, especially with the bullying. That is true. That's entertainment.
Well, but it's true to the original. Carrie is brutalized by, like, throwing tampons at a girl after she's had her first period, and then, like, plug it up, pouring pig's blood over someone. Like, this is next level bullying. So, I mean, it's totally appropriate to what is established by the original film. But for me, and again, these are necessary movies. I think about a movie like Teeth or like the Nouveau Black Christmas, where they're trying to make these really aggressively feminist statements.
Yeah.
And they spend all of the focus on the female character and the victim, which is right. It makes sense.
Yeah.
But they don't have any reality to the evil. I think that the fact that Jeremy London's character is supposedly being dragged in and is like, this is against his will, but I guess I'll do it anyway. You guess you'll do what anyway? Pressure women into sex to score imaginary points?
Yeah.
No. Fuck you.
Yeah. I don't care that you're actually in love with, our protagonist.
But this is the positive male in the entire movie.
Yeah.
In the entire movie. And I think like movies like Teeth and The Other Black Christmas suffer from this too, in that there's nothing real about these bullies. Stephen King, I complain about that in his books all the time. I don't believe that any one of those guys would be so proud and happy about what they were doing. Each one of them mentally would be saying, no, I'm just doing something that someone else told me to do, or I'm just a part of a group. It's not me. No, they love this. They think it's hilarious.
Yeah.
And even the women that they use as conquests, when they're talking about the Municipari character, and like, we basically bullied her to death. She's like, yeah, but she didn't matter. Like, that was the female perspective on it. Like, I can like or dislike characters, but if I don't believe them, we have a problem.
Yeah.
And I think the actress who plays Sue Snell, what's her name?
Amy Irving?
Irving, thank you. I was about to say Amy Adams, and it was clearly not Amy Irving.
Amy Irving.
I think she's a decent actress. She obviously didn't need this movie, but they got her to come back for whatever reason. And I believed her, like, recognizing Carrie and wanting to help Carrie and doing the back work of bringing Carrie's mom to her. Mm-hmm. But again, like I said in the introduction, what did that contribute to the movie when all was said and done?
Not a whole lot.
She does get the mom to the party, but Snell is killed instantly when she gets at the party.
Yeah.
And I think that was supposed to be another death, like the teacher that we liked in the original Carrie. When that death happens, we're like, no!
Yeah.
And I would have accepted it if, when the mom found Carrie, not Carrie, our Carrie representative, I can't even remember.
Protagonist, we'll say.
I can't remember the character's name, which says again a lot about the movie. You're not my little girl. I reject you. And then she leaves the movie.
Yeah.
Like,
what?
We spent a lot of time. There's these scenes at the psych center, all of this stuff. Like, getting these two characters together should have meant something.
Yeah.
Right? So, I do think the central actress is pretty strong, and I think the actress, the Sue Snell, Amy Irving, is trying the best that she can.
Yeah.
But those are the two characters that come close to being somewhat in the area of being believable.
Yeah.
Nobody else is credible. Even the victim, Mina Suvari, just seemed like a movie victim.
It to me, it comes right out of the blue. Like, it's one of those, Mina Savari before she was famous. And all of a sudden she's walking up the stairs and she face plants and kills herself? What?
She's like the character from The Us, right?
Yeah.
She got rejected by a boy and that's it for her.
Yeah.
I'm 16, it's never going to get worse than this.
Yeah.
Right?
Like, I'm kind of like, what? Like, what? It's a WTF
there
moment.
There are fragile teenagers, don't get me wrong, I don't want to underserve it, but we should believe it.
Yeah. It's definitely a WTF moment because it comes kind of out of the blue.
Yeah.
And then of course, then she like smacks, falls to her death onto her car and there's someone recording it and you're just like, oh, you dick.
And they go back to his face in the windshield again and again.
And again. It's definitely a WTF moment. Same with the Amy Irving character death.
Yeah.
I was like, what? But
again, bringing back a legacy character to just kill them a lot of time feels cheap. I said the same thing about the Nouveau Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It just just for the sake of killing them, that seems like a waste of time to me.
Yeah.
But I guess if they didn't have those scenes with the mom and the psych center, what would they be added with?
Yeah.
More of those jock douchebags being jock douchebags, more sexual assaults. The movie's really uncomfortable.
It is.
Whereas when we were talking about with the Eye 2, they used that darkness and uncomfortable to sort of be a baseline ugliness that sort of sets the table for the scares.
Yeah.
This one is just like, all of these characters are awful.
Yeah.
We can't wait for them to die.
Yeah.
And, I guess when I'm seeing them getting spiked with the shards of glass or the very 90s Death by CD.
Yeah.
Which I hadn't seen since I Come in Peace.
Yeah.
Remember I Come in Peace?
I Come in Peace. Of course I do.
Dudes were getting killed by CDs in that movie. That's how 90s that shit was.
Nothing ages your movie like showing CDs.
I do want to talk about the 90s-ness of the movie, because this is 99. Like, it's almost like the end. And like I say, 99 was an incredible year for cinema.
Yeah.
But this movie is a little behind the times. I think it's still in 1995.
Yep.
And the soundtrack is just, it's like bitter nostalgia.
Yeah,
this was good at the time. This was absolutely appropriate at the time.
Yeah.
And it's like...
It's goth alternative rock that was popular.
And it's feeling as shrill as like that weird like synth 80s shit or like the towering hairstyles that we're trying to take seriously in some of the retro movies. Already from 1999, this movie has a few sort of cringy spots like that.
Yeah.
And weird fashion affectations.
Yeah.
Did you notice, like, when she, quote, wolfed out as a psychic thing, like, she all of a sudden got stylized tattooing?
Yeah, that's such a 90s thing. Yeah, the vines that
was it vines or barbed wire or something, whatever?
I think it's vines.
Circling all around her body just to make her look cooler while she's doing her psychic things.
Yeah.
And all I could think is like, that's a super 90s girl.
It is. That and the soundtrack. Nothing ages your movie than having the songs of that time play continuously in your film. It's like, here's a movie, but there's also an original soundtrack that we're selling.
Yeah. They're selling that soundtrack.
Yeah.
There's advertisements for the soundtrack throughout the movie.
Scream has that thing too, and Sydney, the movie ends and Sydney walks off and it has the latest sort of alternative rock song that you can find on the Scream 2 original soundtrack.
It absolutely dates the movie, but in a weird way, it was one of the few things that I found kind of charming about it.
Yeah.
Even like the weird quick cut, grainy black and white shots. I was like, oh yeah, they used to do that all the time.
Yeah.
And then one day we just all agreed, enough.
They kind of stopped doing that in the 2000s a little bit.
Yeah.
But I do some days, I miss record stores, Larry.
Yeah. But the same thing when I talked about with Pet Sematary 2, that aesthetic, which is very specific to like people who grew up or were teenagers in the 90s.
Yeah.
If you like that, there is a lot of that in this movie.
Yes.
But that might be the thing it has going for it at this time.
Well, it's just... we didn't need this story. We just didn't need it. Like, what more can you tell from the Carrie White story? Because it is almost a carbon copy of the original Stephen King Carrie. The beats are the same. The climax. It doesn't take...
Carrie's character is fundamentally different, and the bullies are fundamentally different. But the way
they though? Like they're
for some reason, because all the girls get punished for bullying Carrie. That one bully decides she wants to destroy Carrie. And it's mainly her who is the driving force.
Yeah.
Whereas this one, it's every jock in the high school.
Yeah.
And it's not even personal to Carrie. The only reason they target her is because she's going to shame them.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I think it is different enough. I mean, structurally, it's still going to lead to her killing 3/4 of her high school.
Yeah.
And that does follow it. But I wouldn't say it's a carbon copy. I would say it's sequelitis. It's what a lazy sequel would do.
Yeah. I don't know. It's kind of funny because I talked about how I love the uncomfortableness in the I2 and how it works. Where here, it nauseated me. Like, it's just, the boys are so ugly and mean that, I can't wait for them to get their comebubances, but then she dies because...
Let the boys be ugly and mean, please.
Yeah.
But I want to believe them.
They're so cartoonish, I guess.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And this is a common thing with these, like, I found the same thing with that Black Christmas movie and that Teeth movie.
Yeah.
If there was just a couple of male characters who read as human fucking beings, it would have gone a long way.
Not since Basic Instinct have I seen characters that they're delivering lines that are so fake, and the characters, like, they're so one-dimensional, almost snidely whiplash evil that I'm just like, ooh, like, they're not real characters. They're characters that only exist in a movie, and I can't really connect with that.
Also, I just have to bring up one last thing. There's a very traumatic scene involving a dog being run over by a car, which I do not appreciate how much they showed of the dog. Again, all the other violence, people being stabbed through the face, you know, and bodies twitching.
Yeah.
That dog getting hit by a car, and it survives somehow, even though they show it being fucking dragged.
Yeah, like there's
that was really upsetting to me, and it shouldn't be because, like, the amount of human violence we see, but I'm a dog lover, and I'm just putting a flag in the ground here. Dog lovers, you might have to look away for one scene.
Yeah, my wife will not watch this movie. Yeah.
How old are you, Auntie?
12.
I think that makes you the youngest person in the entire country.
I missed you so much.
What are you afraid of?
What if it comes back?
It won't come back.
What if it does?
If it comes back, we kill it.
Have you come into direct contact with the infected? What happened, Dad? It's Mom. Step 1, kill the infected. Step 2, containment. Containment fails. Step 3, extermination.
So, 28 days later, the picture from Danny Boyle, which a lot of people get really pissy when I call it a zombie movie, but fuck off. I know that they're not undead, but these are zombie movies.
It's a zombie movie.
It's so fucking clearly a zombie movie. Anyway, I loved that movie.
Yes.
Between that movie and Zack Snyder's remake of Dawn of the Dead, they brought zombies back to the public in a big, big way. Without them, we wouldn't have Zombieland, we wouldn't have The Walking Dead, we wouldn't have the whole explosion of zombie that some people are really
warm
mad
bodies,
about
blah, 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 blah.
Like, they was responsible for it, and that, maybe Shaun of the Dead too, it was right around the same
time.
Yeah. But the 28 days later in that remake of Dawn, I have a lot of affection for specifically because, thank you, I spent the late 80s and all of the 90s wanting zombies back. These two movies brought them back in a way I could never have possibly anticipated.
It's gotten ridiculous how many zombie films are out there now.
Like, it's oversaturation. And I will, even as the biggest zombie fan in the world, concede that. The problem is when you love a movie that much and they make a sequel to it, it's just like, I have to watch it. I'm gonna watch it, but like without Danny Boyle, who is one of, by the way, the greatest living filmmakers that we have right now.
Yeah.
He is fucking good. His worst movie is better than most people's best.
Yeah.
I have such respect, and like he had distanced himself from it. It was like, this is a totally different group making this movie.
Did he produce it, though?
Well, his name's on it, I believe.
Okay.
But, like, he creatively, I think, he showed up the day that Harold Perrineau was doing the helicopter scene.
Yeah.
And was killing a lot of rage people with the propellers. And he said he had fun on set that day, but that it was Juan Carlos Fresnadelo's film.
Yeah.
And that's where it was all going to go. It was going to, as far as I'm concerned, is this guy going to do the job?
Yeah.
And I'm going to say about 4 minutes into the film, I completely relaxed.
Okay.
This movie has one of the most incredible opening sequences to any horror film, period, end of sentence.
Yeah, okay.
It is fucking awesome. Like,
yep.
Robert Carlyle and Mary McCormick and a bunch of people who we don't know are eating canned food around a table and have been surviving.
Yeah, they've been surviving for a while.
All of this is shown, not told, very quickly and efficiently. We see the look on their faces. We see the windows all boarded up and just sunlight streaming in from the little slits. And we know that they've lived a very traumatic, cautious, some period of time, several weeks or months.
They've been living by a set of rules that have kept them alive.
And they break those rules because a little boy comes knocking on the door and they let him in. And he has led a horde of infected to them. And everyone is killed except for Robert Carlyle. And Robert Carlyle arguably abandons his wife, maybe inarguably abandons his wife to her fate. I've always wrestled with that. People are like, he's such a piece of shit, he's such a piece of shit. Everything that Mary McDonald does, or McCormick, I think, does in that scene is wrong. She is doing everything wrong. Letting the kid into the place, got the zombies there. Yeah. The kid runs up the stairs, which is the exact wrong thing to do. She follows him. Yeah. And he is saying, no, we gotta go. And she is all in to save this little kid. Yeah. And it's life or death. And he has 2 seconds to make that choice. Yeah. He can go out the window and have a chance at living, or he can follow his wife into that dead-end bedroom and he can die with her. Yeah. And he goes out the window. Yeah. And for the rest of the movie, he is punished and tortured by it, justifiably. He shouldn't have lied to his kids about it. But should we hate the character? That's another question. But while that whole sequence is playing out, while he makes that split-second choice and we have to just deal with it with him, and he runs and the horde chases behind him and he's trying to get the fucking boat to start and they're diving in the water and I'm leaning back in my seat in the theater and I'm like, oh my God. Yeah. And then the title goes up 28 weeks later and I had such a smile on my face. I was so relieved they did not fuck up 28 days later. Jason Dubray argues that this is a better movie than 28 Days Later. No. I can't make that case, but I will make the case that it is very strong. Yeah. Also, by today's standard, not so much at the time, but by today's standard, incredibly star-studded. Yeah. Idris Elba is in this movie. Yeah.
Jeremy Renner.
Hawkeye. Yeah. Rose Byrne.
Yes.
Rose Byrne is in this movie. Catherine McCormick is a great actress. Robert Carlyle, no slouch. Harold Perrineau. At the time, they were somewhat maybe familiar faces. Yes. But by today's standard, for a zombie movie, this is an incredible cast. Are there complaints to be made? Yes. For the military have now occupied Europe, and they have a station in London where they're slowly bringing people back to eventually repopulate the island. Yeah. Is the idea. Yeah. And the incompetence with which this is handled by the military led by Idris Elba is hard to stomach. Yeah. The fact that those 2 little kids can sneak past the army barricades to make this little field trip to their home and that they're not caught until they're on their way back with their infected mother is really, really, it's a hard thing to sell. How did they possibly pull that off? But I think that, especially because it's a European production, the opinion of the American might of the military and their competence is maybe questioned. There are some competent members of the military, but the apparatus, the machine itself, fundamentally broken, fundamentally wicked. Yeah. I think that's a little bit easy, but it's helpful to tell the story that they're trying to tell here. Yeah. I clocked it, that it was not super credible, but I let it go. And as far as I'm concerned, it was the only real hurdle to get over. And it wasn't a hard one. It was just like, really? Military blockade? 2 teenage kids just walked out? The world is at stake? Global pandemic of people eating their faces off because of rage, and your security is that lax?
Yeah.
But
I didn't buy that too much.
It's so, like, Robert Carlyle, his kids come back to him, he hasn't seen them forever, and he's so happy to see them. And I get the feeling like he was a good dad, and he was a good husband. He did love his wife. He is tortured by this decision that he made. And it's interesting because she gets brought back, and we have found she's infected, but she doesn't affect the rage virus. She just carries it. You can see the blood in her eyes, and she seems a little bit twitchy and a little unstable, but she's not attacking people.
Yeah.
So it'd be really easy to believe that she was okay, that he could use his swipe card to walk into her room, apologize to her, and kiss his wife.
Yeah.
And it could have been a really sweet moment for him. But he becomes ground zero of the new zombie thing. Like, that choice, A, to abandon his wife, and then B, to go in and apologize and kiss her, starts the catastrophe all over again. Mm-hmm. And I was okay with that. Another little thing that I find is he kind of becomes a boss zombie.
Yeah.
He starts showing up and stalking the kids later on, like, as an undead infected. And, like, to me, the rage infected, I know they're not zombies or whatever, they're so blinded by rage and their need to kill and eat whatever they come across, there's nothing calculated about them. Like Christopher Eccleston said in the first movie, these are people who are not going to farm. They're not going to grow crops. They're not going to, build homes.
Yeah.
We just have to wait for them to starve to death. Right?
Yeah.
Except for the Robert Carlyle character.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but largely, it's this incredibly intense chase movie, and it gets worse and worse and worse and worse and worse, and at the peak of the worst, roll credits.
Yep.
And I had a blast.
Sorry, it ends in a bummer.
I will hand it over to you. I kind of overdid it there. But
that's okay.
I'm a fan.
No, I think it's a strong movie. It's a strong sequel. Since this is the first time I've been on your podcast,
Lee Beckmann, was it?
Yes. I want to introduce the Cole Hauser Rank and Review Award that has never been put on your show, right? I want to shout out Rose Byrne.
Right.
She is... I respect the choices she makes throughout her career. She could have, done the whole Merchant Ivory, films that, a lot of British actors could sort of stay with. But she's chosen to do a lot of genre pictures. 28 Weeks Later, the X-Men films. She's in Bridesmaids. She has
Insidious movies.
Yeah, and the Insidious franchise. She is a genre staple. And I really dug her character in this movie. Her and the Jeremy Renner character, I really liked a lot. And this is before they were famous as well. Yeah. So I want to shout out Rose Byrne. You are you were a great addition to a lot of genre films, and I think she's great.
And she's one of these solid supporting actor players. Like, she does her role well. She doesn't, say, look at me.
Yeah.
She serves the story.
Yeah.
And I respect that.
She's in those, is it called, the Bad Neighbors movies? Or what's the one that with
Neighbors.
Neighbors, yeah. She has no problem making fun of herself,
yeah,
which I deeply, deeply appreciate as well.
Yeah.
Good zombie films are good at those questions of what if. If you were put in this scenario, how would you handle it?
Yeah.
I'm going to go back to the beginning here. Do you think the Robert Carlyle character is a coward?
I think he made a regrettable decision, but an understandable decision.
I think he is put in an impossible situation, and for his own survival, I think he made the right one.
He even followed her upstairs, which was already boxing him in. And then she was going to go into the spare room. They were right behind him.
Yeah.
He had 2 ways to go. One definitely would lead to his death.
Yes.
The other one very likely would lead to his death. And I think human nature would send you out that window.
Yeah.
You would hate yourself for the rest of your life. But he also said no when she chased after that boy, and she ignored him. He said no when she was going into the bedroom, and she ignored him.
Yeah.
I think
she causes her own death. I'm sorry.
She was making terrible decisions, knee-jerk decisions in the interest of saving a child. he wanted to save him and her.
Yeah.
They'd been surviving there forever. I was a lot more sympathetic to his character. And I did find it tragic that his kissing his wife was the thing that got him killed and became a thing. If it was a thing that I would change about the movie is him chasing the kids in the subway station specifically.
Yeah.
Like, I think after that point, he was ground zero of the zombie thing. Like, we should have just let that character go.
Yeah.
But
it is a plot contrivance, I guess.
Yeah.
Movie...
it's where they forget the rage virus, by the way, which this movie does do a couple times. I don't mind, because, as I've always said, these are zombie movies. Some people have issue if it's supernatural or it's undead, all of a sudden the movie's not legit. It becomes a, quote, horror movie instead of a science fiction movie. And I'm sorry if it makes you uncomfortable that it's a horror movie. Yeah. It pisses me off. I've had people tell me that The Sixth Sense isn't a horror movie because it's just too high quality, right? It's too high quality, so it can't be a horror movie.
Hello, Silence of the Lambs.
Same thing. It's a procedural. No. That is a horror movie. It's about a dude who kills women, cuts off their skin and wears it as a suit. It's a horror movie. Yeah. But there's this whole contingent that, no, horror movies are lower. That's the whole idea of this elevated horror right now that pisses me off, right? It's just like, no, there's a couple of moments in this movie where they just completely forget that. There's a sequence I mentioned earlier where Harold Perrineau, solid character actor, has to clear this
and
field.
He'll get a shout out later in the series at some point.
Yeah. He gets a helicopter and he dips the blades and
Love
he's
that scene.
lawn mowing all these. It's not very credible, but take a hard look at some of those zombies in the field. Some of them have holes in them. Some of them literally have entrails hanging out of them.
Yeah.
They have forgotten. Somebody on the production forgot that these were just infected people because they were walking around with mortal injuries.
Yeah.
Again, I know as far as the story is concerned, I will treat it as a virus. But if anybody ever gives me a hard time for calling 28 Days or 28 Weeks Later a zombie movie, I roll my eyes so hard that I go blind.
Yeah. The movie so wants to see the Robert Carlyle character as a coward, and I can't. Yeah. I always love when people say, if I was there, I would do this thing. No, you won't. No. You have no idea about
He had less than a second to make that
you have
decision.
no idea about the lizard brain and the whole fight or flight thing and whether you're going to run away or, fight. He is put in an impossible situation where she is cornered off in the room. Like, she is dead. And he knows it.
If he goes in there, he will die with her.
Yeah. So he makes the decision to close whatever door it is and go out the window and sprint like mad. And he even looks back to see her being grabbed away from the window. Yeah.
By the way, and the fact that he closed the door and then went out the window, there is a case to be made that the zombies would be more likely to follow him out the window than her in the room. Like, she still got obviously. Yeah. But, no. But seeing her in the window, I think that as much as the moment of him leaving, like her looking at him, watching him run away, and then her body being yanked out of the frame. Yeah. Like, you would never be able to fucking sleep again.
No.
Right? Like, whether or not he made the right decision, you would never be able to convince yourself that you made the right decision.
He would be dead,
I understand that.
Yeah.
But the movie doesn't seem to agree with that. The movie seems to think that this is a sin he needs to pay for.
Yeah. And I'm sorry, I would probably make the same decision just for self-preservation. Yeah. So I don't...
If it was their kid, I would have followed her in the room.
Yeah, but it's
not. If it was my little kid, But she's like, we just met this kid and he just fucking killed us. Yeah. Let's not go all in on this kid. Or if he wants to come with us, let him come with us. Let's not follow him because clearly he's a little kid.
Yeah. Yeah.
But again, we didn't have the time.
I can even buy the fact that he lies to his own kids about what happens with his mom. Is it a cowardice thing? I don't know.
Don't say that you saw them kill her.
Yeah.
Like.
But he did in some ways.
You got separated and the place that you were at were overrun with zombies and there was just no way that she could have survived. Yeah. And that would have, he didn't need to make up the story of seeing them bend her and all of that.
Okay, sure. Possibly.
But again, he had really bad feelings about it. To tell the truth would be to say, I had a choice between dying with your mom or running. And I chose to run.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't see him as a coward. I feel so bad for him that even when he gets infected, I'm like, oh, buddy.
And Carlisle's a great actor.
Yeah.
Like, he really plays the shit out of it.
Yeah.
The other big death, I think, in the movie is Jeremy Renner.
Yeah.
Because he's sort of the one military guy who's got a head on his shoulders when they're given free fire. Originally, just target the infected.
Yeah.
And eventually they just say, all target. And then they say, it's a ticking clock. We're just going to blow this place up.
Yeah.
He's not on board.
Yeah.
And he's like the one. He and Perrin are like the two guys that have a grow a conscience while these orders are coming down.
Yeah.
And the car they're in is not starting. He needs to push start it, and they're in a jam. And he goes out there pretty much knowing there's about a maybe 1% chance that he doesn't get burned alive.
Yeah.
But he goes out and he starts pushing the
winks
cars.
at
he winks at the little kid right before shit goes down.
Yeah.
And it's not a quick death. Like,
No.
this is a character we liked. This is a character who did everything right. This is a character who used his last moments to push them to a safer place. And in the end, it was all in vain.
I know, and you're just like, oh, buddy, you're such a good character, like, dude.
I don't remember when it came up again, but it reminded me, because there's that Richard III movie with Ian McKellen that has Robert Downey Jr. in it, and he has a really bloody, sudden death in it.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're like a high school age kid, you're like, hey, that's Iron Man.
Yeah,
This is a similar sort of thing here with Jeremy Renner's character. You're like, hey, Hawkeye, we can feel safe with Hawkeye here to say, ooh.
Nope.
Hawkeye's on fire. Ooh, Hawkeye's walking slowly. Hawkeye's on his knees. Hawkeye's dead.
And you feel it. I do love the scene when they realize that they've lost it, where like all the infected are starting to overtake all those people in the street, and the snipers are trying to fire away, and they're getting all these orders. Okay, first target the infected. Okay, that's not working. Target everybody.
Open targets.
And it's just like, oh, like that's horror.
And
right
at least
there.
it's handled well. I think it feels like there's a missing scene where we find out what happened with the top brass there. Like, Idris Elba,
he just disappears.
They cut away from him and he's gone. I would have either liked just seen them boxed in and killed, or them actually getting out. Because both would be completely credible, that they would just say, fuck this, we're out of here. I would believe that.
Yeah.
Or they fought down to the last man. I would believe that. But either way, it would have been nice to see it.
Yeah. Even when Rose Byrne dies, I'm like, oh, buddy.
Beaten to death with the camera.
Yeah, that's a hard one too.
Yeah.
And I do, even though it's a callback to the first one where they're in the dark and the infected are down there, like that's still a creepy scene. If there's any criticism, even though they try to expand the universe and there's obviously more money put into it, and maybe it's just because there's so many zombie movies now, it just kind of feels like just another zombie movie in some sort of ways. It does in some ways, at least for me.
I don't know. I thought the director brought some serious style here.
Oh no, it's good. It's good. I'm not trying to dispute that. But there's been so many zombie films, and like I said, it's one of those zombie films are good for what if scenarios. What would happen? Like, because people are put in impossible scenarios where they have to make snap decisions. Romero loves doing. What would you do if your loved ones were infected? Would you try and keep them alive and hope for a cure, or would you eventually put a bullet in their head? And that's another thing that's sort of explored in this film as well.
And the line between survival but still retaining humanity.
Yeah,
all of it's here.
Yeah.
I am so thirsty for more 28 whatever. So originally it was going to be 28 months, but the word on the street now is 28 years later. It's been quite a long time, but man, if they top this with a third entry that was as strong as the first two, they might eclipse the Romero zombie movies. I love the Romero zombie movies, but they have warts.
Yes, they do.
It's a warts and all experience.
Yeah.
I really, really like these.
Yeah.
We're over 20 minutes in on this. Is there anything else you would like to say about 28 Weeks Later?
It's a strong horror movie. It's a strong sequel. It's, got some actors before they were famous in there. There's no really hard complaints that I have for this movie. It's a strong zombie horror movie.
Is that guy drinking beer? There's gonna be a huge accident. Everybody's gonna die. Being alive after we were supposed to die, it caused a rift in Death's design.
Which means death could be coming for us.
I have this really bad feeling. It's not over yet.
David R. Ellis ended up getting the gig to direct Final Destination 2. He's usually a second unit director for like action sequences, but on some interesting movies. He did like Patriot Games.
Yes,
and,
he
like,
did.
So I think he was a skilled second unit person, and he also went on to direct a couple of culty movies. Snakes on a Plane and Shark Night.
Yep.
I am much more a fan of Shark Night than Snakes on a Plane, which I know is an unpopular opinion, but I don't know. For some reason, I think Shark Night's better at being Shark Night than Snakes on a Plane is at being Snakes on a Plane.
Fair enough.
I wouldn't turn my nose up at either of them, by the way. But he's kind of a second tier-ish director, not to talk down about it, but like
I would say he's a genre filmmaker.
He's good at executing these sort of big moments. And Final Destination 2 opens with an incredible one.
It does.
I have to say, this highway sequence, shot on Vancouver Island, by the way, they augmented it with CGI with the logs falling off the logging truck and the fire. But every single thing else that you see in this sequence with this pileup on the highway is shot for real, real cars, real stunts. And the fact that they brought a stunt director to do it made a lot of the difference.
Oh, yeah.
It's much like the first movie, this character has a vision of a catastrophe, and she stops several people from being caught up in the catastrophe. So when that happens, they are spared, but death has to course correct. And one by one, through all these different things, the people are killed. And all of the Final Destination movies are based on the kill scenes. Really, the scenes in between are just the scenes in between. The same thing happens in every movie. The same question is asked in every movie, and the same answer is given in every movie. It's kind of amazing that the Final Destination has the legs that it does, because there's no tangible villain other than death itself. And there's no way to win. So it's kind of a rigged game. So it runs on spectacle. And I'm going to argue that Ellis brings enough spectacle to justify this sequel. I think it's a stronger movie than the first in many ways. The first had maybe stronger characters, and it was fresher with the concept. But as the Final Destination franchise sort of figures out what it is, which is a series of these Rube Goldberg death sequences that become increasingly like cheesy and silly as the movies go on. I think this movie kind of stretched its legs and made it find its identity in a way that it was more of a straight horror movie. This doesn't exactly wink, but it lets you have fun.
Yes. It's a Looney Tunes cartoon of a horror movie, and it's a lot of fun.
Like, there's this dick dude who won the lottery, and we don't like him, and like they keep on showing us different ways that he might die, and then they end up killing him in a kind of matter-of-fact sort of, oh, okay, well, he's gone at least.
Doesn't like a ladder falls on into his eye?
He eventually, while escaping a fire, he falls, slips on some food that he'd thrown casually out the window, and the ladder that he just descended falls and crushes his face. But by that time, he'd escaped a fire and several other things that should have killed him. And it's all based on, how's he gonna get it? How are they gonna get it? It's intensely simple-minded and it's intensely repetitive, but I'm not mad at it in any way, shape, or form. The Friday the 13th franchise is intensely repetitive and simple-minded, and I have no problem with that. Know what you are and be that to the best of your ability. So, I mean, I will hand out, buy a beer for everybody involved in it. Am I excited about it? Am I passionate? Is this one of the greatest sequels ever made? No. But it has a lot of memorable deaths in it, and it's a very solid entry in Final Destination, which is what we want when we're looking at a horror sequel. So, like, a solid good on you. You didn't fuck with the franchise, but you brought enough new to it that bring us Final Destination 3. You earned it. So I'm not foaming at the mouth. It's not 28 Weeks Later or Scream 2, but solid.
It's a lot of fun. David Ellis actually got his start in the industry as a stunt person. And like you mentioned earlier in this review, that yes, the practical stunts are impressive. That opening sequence on the highway is still amazing to watch. The fact that there's very little CGI. Yes, the logs.
The logs in the fire apparently are CGI, and, but all of the collisions, the flips, the rolls, the people sliding on the concrete.
All real. All practical. And if anything, to watch that sequence alone, I would recommend this movie because it is impressive.
And if they made it today, it would just be an animated sequence.
Yeah. So to see that, and once again, Academy Awards, create an Academy Award for Best Stunt, please. Yeah. If you want to bring some viewership back, it's time. It is an art form. People risk their well-being to entertain us. It's time, folks. Because
it's weird, the guy who mixes the audio has a category in the Oscars, but the guy who literally risks his life.
Yeah. Meh. No, it's impressive. I love the stock characters. They're sort of enjoyable. You've got the druggie, you've got the sort of primpy, woman,
sort of career gal.
Yeah. Who's
takes nothing seriously.
Yeah, just a bitch. You have the vanilla, lead characters, both the woman and that cop,
the spoiled jock kid. Who is supposed to be. Interestingly, there's a character in the movie that they aged up. The kid who gets crushed by the pane of glass in the original script was 9 years old.
Ouch, that was a wise movie.
My guess is they wouldn't have shown the point of impact.
Yeah.
We would have seen the glass drop and heard the crash, and the mom would have screamed.
Yeah.
But and again, they spend a lot of time with this kid in a dentist office where you see all these terrible things that can go wrong in a dentist office, and he ends up getting slapped. That might have been a little bit too far. I agree. But upon knowing that, his dialogue reads a little more sense. So the fact that his mom's accompanying him to the dentist, you don't need your mom to drive you to the dentist. You're 20. What the fuck?
Yeah.
But I think it's another thing that the Final Destination, or at least the better entries of it, are good at, is tapping in on universal fears.
Yeah.
The first movie was Air Flying, which is really solid. Everybody, even if you're not phobic, everyone's a little bit nervous when they get on that airplane, I think. I honestly believe that.
Yeah.
But how you go to the next movie without repeating yourself, I think a car accident is a really, really good one because that is a real threat.
Yeah.
Cars and cancer are the two biggest killers that we have, right?
Yeah.
So, and same thing, the little stuff at the dentist office.
Everyone hates going to the dentist.
The gas, the chair being raised, the little sharp instruments in your mouth. And you kept on, this kid's on the list. What's going to happen? What's going to happen? And they play with that really well. And like I say, the highway, the dentist office, the airplanes, these are all pretty universal, if not fears, places where you don't feel comfortable.
Yeah. I do love that dentist sequence, and it's nope, and then the plate of glass. That, well done.
But
bravo.
I've said before that horror and comedy have a lot in common.
Yeah.
It is very much like a slapstick sort of set up. And the audience is waiting for the punchline, but they want to deliver it in a way that is unexpected.
Yeah.
The only difference is instead of getting laughs and applause, you get, But I'm a big fan of the
Yeah. I can't believe it took that long to actually have the character of Death as a horror villain as well. That was something, it seemed so obvious in a lot of ways.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that we never really see Death, it's, always a gust of wind or something, or something moves without no one, physically doing something.
No, it's just the power of fate or destiny or death itself.
Yeah, I thought it took that long for, Death to be a villain. Bravo in that ways. Always good to see character actor Tony Todd, who's got his bread and butter in the horror genre.
I love me some Tony Todd. I think he's playing a little thick. Laying it on pretty thick in this movie.
Yeah.
I think it's what's being asked of him, to be fair. But this is sometimes he shows up to play, and sometimes he's just happy to be working.
Yeah.
And I'm never sad to see Tony Todd, but I kind of understood why they let go of that character moving forward. They brought back Clear from the first movie, Ali Larder.
Yeah, and I'm going to shout out for another Cole Hauser ranking reward, Ali Larder, because she herself has done a lot of genre pictures. She was in one of the Resident Evil movies. She was on them, she was in Heroes. I think she needs to get a little more credit. I mean, she's always Ali Larder. I don't think she stretches herself, but
fun fact.
Go ahead.
she gets killed off in this movie. Spoilers!
Yeah.
Fun fact, they'd rigged this dummy to be at the door, and there was going to be an explosion, and the idea was to see the dummy get enveloped in flame.
Yeah.
But a glitch happened, and the dummy was uprooted. It flew down the hallway and hit the camera.
Oof.
And the shots in the movie.
Nice.
Movie magic. I don't know if Devon Sawa wanted more money or if he was unavailable or whatever. I don't know what happened, but he was killed in between the two movies by falling brick. And Clear, in order to find herself in the safest place possible, is put herself in this padded room in a mental institution. So she has somehow managed to live the time in between without choking on her food. But I think it was supposed to be a big, oh fuck, they killed Clear. And I was like, when are they going to kill Clear? I really, as soon as they brought her into the story, I was like, you're going to die. But again, and the fact that glitch kind of caused it to be a little bit more needlessly graphic than it needed to be.
But nice touch.
It didn't surprise me, but nor did it make me angry.
No. I was also... A lot of the horror franchises has some sort of gimmick. The Saw films has that whole torture porn where you're like, ooh, oh. The Nightmare has, the outlandish deaths in the dream world. Jason has the deaths, these sort of, whether he's squishing the head or whatnot in Friday the 13th. The Final Destination pictures have these elaborate set pieces where it's like, wait for it, no. Wait for it, no. Wait for it, oh. That's how the character dies.
Yeah.
And you go to these movies for that, and it's entertaining, and they seem to be milking it as for a whole lot because we're getting Final Destination 6. I stopped at 2. I didn't see the other ones, but it's a lot of fun.
Well, I mean, it's consistent, not necessarily in the quality, but what it brings to you, which is, like I say, elaborate, oh shit deaths, surprising deaths, and blah, 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 blah. It does sort of been slowly refining itself. In the first movie, it seemed like death not only killed you, but it covered its tracks.
Yes.
Like, there's a scene in the first movie where this kid slips on soapy water, and then after he's dead, the soapy water just sort of slides away and disappears. So it's like... They abandoned that. Tony Todd being this Undertaker that the characters meet in the first 2 movies and tells them the premise, they abandoned that. But they still use Tony Todd's voice over the loudspeaker during the catastrophe in movie 3. And it's slowly kind of finding it, making subtle changes. But I think with this franchise, unfortunately, to counter what I said at the beginning, the way to be successful at this particular franchise is to fuck with the formula minimally.
Yeah.
For the record, I would say the same thing about Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
In certain franchises, just give us what we've paid for.
Yeah.
And I think that the second entry definitely delivers on that. And the other ones are more or less successful, somewhat to diminishing returns. It just becomes do you care about the characters? How good is the acting?
Yeah.
And are they topping themselves with the spectacle?
Yeah.
I don't know. I again, the first time I watched this movie, because I watched the first one, I think, with you in theaters. I remember
Center
that.
Cinemas, R.I.P.
And so I'd seen the first one, but I got around to the second one.
Yeah.
And when I watched it, I was like, fuck, I wish I'd seen that on the big screen.
Yeah.
Because that car wreck at the beginning of the movie would have been epic on
oh,
a big
God,
screen.
yeah.
And, it does the job. Nothing will surprise you. Maybe moments like how a person dies will surprise you, but that they die will not surprise you.
Yeah.
How the movie ends will not surprise you. You will be entertained.
I do like the fact that they saved that boy in the original car accident, and then they wait all towards the end to finally get his death, and he's death by barbecue, I think.
The barbecue propane tank explodes.
Yeah. And I went, what? Oh, I was a little surprised by it.
And short of a bunch of red circles appearing and that's all, folks. I don't know how they could have had a more cartoony ending.
Yeah.
And yet, everybody's smiling.
Yep. No, it's a lot of fun.
So thank you very much, Mr. Beckmann.
Thank you for having me.
For discussing sequels again. We have completed our Nouveau Halloween trilogy. I feel like I should collect these reviews and maybe like add them to the end of our Halloween retrospective or something.
It's possible.
But I think we're going to have different lists. I suspect that we're going to have different lists. But
as we usually do.
But I think when we had the conversations, we're movie for movie, we're not that far apart. I think it's sort of
yeah.
It becomes very personal at this point.
It does.
What was your least favorite of these horror sequels and why?
At number 6, I have the unnecessary sequel, Rage, Carrie 2. Just the ugliness, which is funny because I like the ugliness of the Eye too, but it was just so unnecessary. Like, why? Yeah. Why? So at number 6, I have Rage, Carrie 2. At number 5, it hurts me. It hurts me to do this. Halloween Ends, man. It's so many good things, but
I'm surprised you put it that low, to be honest.
But, well, it's disappointing. That's the thing. It's disappointing.
It really is.
And so I'm just like, technically it's a better movie than number 4, but because it's so disappointing, it's not like Phantom Hoo-Ha disappointing.
Right.
But it's, as a lover of the Halloween franchise and considering how good the first 2 movies, it's just, David, I get it, but, oh, buddy, I'm not angry. I'm just disappointed. Number 4, I have the very fun Final Destination 2. It's not brain surgery, but goddammit, it's fun.
Yeah. That car wreck, man. Can't say enough good things
that
about that
car wreck is awesome. Like, maybe Mad Max, can outdo that, but it's really impressive.
Yeah.
At number 3, I have the very strong zombie sequel, and I think this is where you and I are going to disagree probably. 28 Weeks Later. It's a very strong zombie horror movie. Like I don't think there's not a lot of negative things I can say about it. It's very, very good. It's not 28 Days Later, but what is?
Yeah.
At number 2, I have the better than expected The Eye 2. I love the ugliness in this movie. I think that makes it horrific. And if anything, the last 10 minutes of that movie, and they even sort of foreshadow it when she sees those other ghosts jump off the building. Like, I don't know, that sequence where she kills herself, the ghost doesn't let her die, and so she goes back up. I'm like, oh my god, folks.
Yeah.
Pang Brothers.
What the shit am I watching?
Yeah.
Right now?
Like, whoa. So I have The Eye 2 at number 2, and at number 1, I have Wes Craven's and Calvin Williamson's Scream 2. It's a great horror thriller. If you want to know why Wes Craven was one of the masters of the horror suspense genre, this is a prime example why.
Yeah.
So at number 1, I have Scream 2.
Okay. I mean, we have pretty different lists, but weirdly closer than I expected.
Okay.
You're going to be mad at me.
Yeah.
But I'm actually going to make the case that Halloween Ends is a worse sequel than The Rage Carrie 2.
I disagree, but okay.
I think that what the fans wanted and what the fans were delivered is so dissident that my level of disappointed... You said you're not mad, you're disappointed?
Yeah.
I'm mad.
Yes, I could tell.
I'm mad.
Yeah.
These are capable filmmakers. They knew what they're doing, and they made really stupid choices for reasons that I don't think they understand. And the fact that they double down on it afterwards is equally frustrating.
Okay.
But, like, it's not... No, it is. It's just, like, I love Halloween franchise. You love it more. I think that's why you're more forgiving of it, because...
Absolutely.
The Halloween franchise is your boy. Like, you just love it. You love it wholesale, warts and all.
Yeah.
I do too, but I just don't think they delivered the goods here, and I think history will reflect that.
Sure.
It was a near thing, I will say.
Yeah.
I actually put The Rage Carrie 2 in 5th place.
Yeah.
Some of the badness in it actually helped the movie in that it made me smile.
Okay.
The alt-rock soundtrack, the very cheesy 90-ness.
Yeah.
It has no reason to exist. It shouldn't have been made.
Yeah.
But if you are going to make a Carrie 2, if you are going to make a sequel, yes, I think this is closer to a better... Like, what you would expect a Carrie sequel to be,
Yeah.
then Halloween Ends is what we would expect from
Yeah.
a Halloween movie.
Yeah.
People will disagree with me on that,
Yeah.
but it's my podcast, so
There you go.
fuck it.
Yep.
In fourth place was probably the most we differed as far as the scale on the list.
Yeah.
But I think we're pretty close as to how we feel about the movies. I put the I-2 in fourth place. I just think it is so dark that it actually edges on unpleasant.
Yeah.
And say what you will about Final Destination 3, or 2, pardon me.
Yeah.
It has a lot of death in it, but I have a smile on my face.
Yeah.
I'm having fun while I'm watching it. And I did not have that experience with the eye. They're different things. It's apples and oranges.
Yeah.
They're trying to do different things.
Yeah.
I'm talking about in a personal enjoyment level here. So I put it in fourth place, but the bottom 4 of these movies are all recommendations.
Yes. Yes.
Watch them.
Yes.
So
I think you're fired from your own podcast. No.
The I-2 in fourth place, Final Destination 2 in third place.
Yeah.
I agonized over the top 2.
Yeah.
28 Weeks Later is in second place.
I'm surprised, but okay.
I have a soft spot for the zombies and everything like that, but zombies were hot, fresh off the presses at this time, and they had a lot to prove, they had a lot to follow up, and they delivered the goods.
Yeah.
God bless them.
Yeah.
Scream 2 has no fucking business being as good as it is.
Yeah.
It genuinely has no business being as good as it could have been good. It could have been completely solid. It would have made the same amount of money if it was 2 full letter grades lower than this.
Yeah.
But they wanted to make it as good or better than the first one if they could. And there was a time where I would say it was the best. I do think now, Scream is sort of that immortal. It established its own subgenre, practically, of the meta-winking horror.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it was so good that the fact that the Scary Movie franchise exists pisses me off. You don't lampoon Scream. Scream is satire. Fuck yourselves.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
But I don't want to undercut anything from 28 Weeks Later because it doesn't have the same level of attention drawn to it as Scream 2. And I sometimes like to give the underdog that little extra kick. By all means, please watch both of these movies.
Yeah.
But I'm going to give it to my boy Wes Craven.
Yeah.
And Scream 2. This was still when Scream was so hot. It was new. It was so strong. It was so hip and now of its time. And I, too, remember seeing it in the theater and walking out with a buzz. I was expecting to like this movie. I was not expecting to really like this movie.
Yeah.
And, see it again and drag people to it. And, it's a slasher sequel. And it's way better than you would ever expect it to be.
Yeah.
So that's my list. But it's interesting, the bottom 2, the middle 2, and the top 2 are all kind of interchangeable.
No hurt feelings here, kind of. I think the only reason for me that I didn't put Halloween Ends at number 6 is that there are so many great ideas in the movie.
There's a baseline competency to the production. Absolutely.
Yeah. Like I said, I liked the transitions that he does. I liked even the opening. I liked the acting. I was surprised how good, that last act with Jamie Lee Curtis and what her character goes through from being defeated to coming, rage. And I even went, no, when Corey, kills himself trying to set up. I actually gasped and went, no. That's why I can't put it at number 6, where I didn't find a lot of value with the Rage Carrie 2.
Again, its major, maybe biggest problem
is
that it has no business existing.
Yeah.
Especially 23 years later.
Yeah.
There's no reason to do this movie.
Yeah.
But I'm going to say, if you are going to make a sequel, don't make a sequel to Carrie. But if you are going to make a sequel to Carrie, I guess this was what it was.
Fair enough.
I am not enthusiastic about either of them.
No, I know.
But I was more hurt by Halloween Ends. It hurt my feelings.
It vexes me.
I originally was trying to make more excuses for it, like I said, but it just comes out. For shame.
Not for shame.
Is there anything else you'd like to say to put a bow on this one?
I love you.
I love you, brother. Thanks for being here.
Hey, man. Thanks for having me.
Boom. So I got all Star Trek nerd this episode. I really wanted to be less upset and worked up over Halloween Ends. It's stupid to get mad over things like that, but I don't know. It awoke the inner nerd in me. I mean, I think, that this is the 246th episode of my nerdy movie podcast. I guess I'm out in the open about this, but I agree. Maybe I'm taking this a little bit too seriously. But what do you think? Did I overdo it on the hate for Halloween Ends? Is it actually a worse horror sequel than The Rage Carrie Part 2? Send your feedback to ranknreview@gmail.com. Let me know. ranknreview@gmail.com. I would love to hear from you. The website is ranknreview.ca. Big thanks to my boy Mr. Lee Beckmann, as always, for contributing to the show. Rank and Review drops every other Wednesday. And please tell that other movie nerd in your life about the show, because, they'll probably like it, right? Nerd!